right, testing, testing, testing. The camera should switch to one of us. Oh, all right. Dude, what's up? Good
This is,
morning, dude.
we're live?
We're live, man. I think
Okay.
so. Let me check YouTube, man. It's the first time we've done this. Yeah, we're live, man. I'm
Am
not
I?
even gonna look at how many viewers we have. It might be zero. In fact, I might turn this off. No, I'll leave it on. All right, what's up, dude? How are you?
I'm good, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was putting this out there in the universe yesterday, and
yeah,
I said if we went double digits, that would be success. But
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's just success for doing it, period. And like somebody's gonna watch it. You know, and like somebody will.
yeah,
I'll watch it.
at least a few seconds of it, right?
hmm
Um,
Cheers to you, dude.
yes,
Cheers to
dude,
us.
appropriate.
Cheers to our friendship.
That that is what we're sharing here.
I think it is.
Yeah.
So, backstory for each other. I mean, like, so yeah, let's reflect, man. We've been doing this breakfast morning thing for a while. We've known each other over 10 years now, or about 10 years, right?
Over 10 years.
Yeah, and also, I mean, it started off. We kind of like I was part of like a mentorship group. I'll just say that. That was part of it, and I think like we just started vibing over like next level living, whatever that means. It was money associated at first, but it was like we were just kind of vibing over like living a better quality life. Is that fair to say? I mean, what do you think, man?
Yeah, absolutely. I like the context with that. I think um, you're keeping it very simplified, but yeah, just a quick backstory. I transferred to Washington, last duty station before I probably retired. And when I walked in as the new guy, met this guy, Craig Bishop, and instantly was like, this guy's different. And in a good way, right? Absolutely. Like thinking outside the norm, right? It wasn't about the Navy and, the 9 to 5. It was about, financial freedom and liberties and thinking outside the box. And yeah, absolutely. I mean, just to be real, like, definitely I consider you as one of two top influences in my life outside of my mother. Yeah. So, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill type stuff. And, Dale Carnegie, how to influence friends and win people and influence
Influence
friends.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But it's definitely just that thinking outside the norm, kind of breaking from the status quo, which I dig. And I think that, yeah, for both of us, you were probably on your journey a little bit ahead of me, but I think I definitely caught up with how much I gravitated towards it, and it's blossomed into a freaking awesome relationship.
Yeah, man. I've grown a lot along the way. What brought you to me? I think it was how genuine you were, man. You're just like real. So I invited you to that mentorship thing, and I mean, we're live, so man, but this is not a bad thing. You like wore sweats to the thing that everybody shows up in like a bunch of suits for, and you were like, why am I there to impress anybody? Like you were very like, I think back then I wanted money, I wanted a next level life, but I wanted it for the wrong reasons. What drew me to you, man, was like you're just a good guy, you're just a genuine good guy, but like you had your priorities right. You like saw like family and friends and like integrity, and your morals were stronger than mine at the time. Like you were just a like in my opinion, like just a really high quality human, dude. And like I think that's what's brought me to you this whole time is like, dude, you've heard me out so many times, man. Like you talk me up, but like I love you, brother, because we've been doing this going to breakfast
Yeah.
struggles.
hmm
A lot of them are mine.
See,
And like,
and
yeah,
that's what I love about it too, because this is just an extension of that, just more transparency. Like, because background for folks, right? You got out before me, went to Florida, kind of did your thing. I retired, and I was like, hey, I'm going to Virginia, data center thing. Let's give it a try. And you're like, yeah, I'm gonna give it a try. And we end up here, and in that, kind of being in the same geographic region, going to Anita's for breakfast just to catch up on life and work and how it was treating us and how we were showing up to it. So those conversations that we would have like at 5 in the morning till like 7 or 8, just at Anita's over some coffee and some breakfast. Yeah, those things are genuine and authentic. Where we're both kind of like, I think, when people talk about the different masks they wear throughout the day, right? The ones you show to your friends and the one you show to your family, and then the one that nobody ever sees. But I think for us, we
Not a lot of masking.
no,
Yeah,
and I think that
yeah,
authenticity that we show up to each other is what we enjoy, and like you said, even when we call each other out, um, to like really dig deep and peel back the layers sometimes. So yeah, this is just another opportunity to just BS and on
yeah,
life and share some wisdoms that we share with each other. But maybe if we put it out in the universe, other people go, okay, I dig that too, and just be a part of it, right? Is
yeah,
that what we're trying to accomplish here?
yeah. I was gonna ask you
Outside
the
of the
same
5 minutes of
thing.
talking each other up and
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like obviously, I think okay. So I spend a lot of my day now in a wonderful, beautiful way, like coaching, mentoring people and stuff like that. And I realize it's like, oh man, I do have some value to add. Uh, Experience, and I have evaluated experience. If anything, I'm an overthinker,
yeah,
and by nature, which has caused me to really think about my past experiences quite a bit and frame it in a way that is helpful to other people. Growing up in like a therapeutic environment, I want to help people, dude. That's what brings me helping people, developing people, coaching, all the stuff that you'd see on LinkedIn. But really, like I'm talking about loving humans, man. That
hmm
that's where like that's where like oh man, that fills my cup, and
yes,
I know it fills other people's.
right.
Win win win. Like the time spent does not drain me, so that's what I'm doing. I mean, honestly, I mean, okay, so there's everything is paradox, or there's two edges to every sword. For me,
Yeah.
it's like going through interview processes nowadays in a very um, very fast-paced industry. People are just like making snap judgments really quick, and I'm like, this is an entitled place to be, but I'm like, man, I never really want to interview ever again in my life. Like I don't, I'm not looking to switch jobs, but then B, I want to just put my human self out there to the public. If anybody's interested in knowing who I am, I'm willing to
Okay,
share it. You know
dude,
what I'm
dude.
saying?
All right. No, you are hitting a chord now because that's why I started it. Like when I went to LinkedIn because of job hunting and networking before getting out of the military, and like
Yeah,
you're scared because you're like, shit, I never had to look for a job,
yeah,
right? I had that security. Now it's like, even if somebody hires me the next day, they could be like, I made a mistake,
yes,
right? And so yeah, there was definitely that like um, that fear. And so I loved LinkedIn for all the right reasons initially of networking, people being collaborative. It wasn't like, Facebook or anything else where it's just social interactions and somewhat judgment, right?
yeah,
You know, snapshot decisions and things of that nature. But like you just said, right? Kind of getting back to the point, LinkedIn to me was, a chance to be authentic and advertise yourself and
mm,
say, this is me. And 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 for all the right reasons of like this is because you're right, like whether it's an hour or 30 minutes, can you really assess somebody? And to me, like when you have the post and the authenticity or transparency, right, transparency of what I try to put out there in things that matter to me, you don't have to look at my resume or interview me. You can look at the 20 or 30 so videos posts that I put on LinkedIn and have a better snapshot of who I am at my core and what I care
yeah,
about. Outside of the technical and things of that nature, right? Sure, you maybe evaluate those, but beyond that, to me, that is my resume.
yeah,
And just like you said, right? And funny enough, that's how I've actually gotten some of the jobs that I've gotten, right?
yeah,
I know I've bounced around a little bit more than you have in the data center field, but for those reasons, it was people saying, hey, I saw your LinkedIn videos. That
right,
was cool, right? And that
yeah,
triggered the I want to get to know this person, or I think I want this person. I want to work with this person.
yeah, yeah. That's that's awesome, dude. And I look up to that. Your video, fortunately for both of us, we both have been in the habit of putting ourselves out there, which is cool. Um, yeah, like I do a call every morning. You do your videos in the car.
Yeah,
So yeah, hopefully we can provide some value.
it is. I'll also share in my journey of that transparency. I remember the first place I was at out of the Navy, and I started moving up in position and title. That HR kind of came to me and they said, "Oh, we saw some of your videos, and we still good."
Thanks. Yeah, we're good. We're live.
Okay.
Looking good.
um,
I didn't want to check anything in detail, but I did want to make sure before I turn this computer screen off that we're good
yeah,
to go.
yeah. So
Yeah.
no, I dig it. Yeah, I think we should turn it off.
Yeah,
But more for you, for me. I feel like
yeah. Yeah, you get to see it every time the camera switches.
no, but
And I'm all paranoid about the camera switching
yeah,
probably.
I had HR come to me saying, "Hey, just love the videos, love the authenticity, but
Be careful.
be careful." And it was more of like, as you move up, be careful. And I was just like, it rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah.
I understand the intent. It was
Yeah.
to protect yourself because once you put it out there, like a lot of people in the past, you can't take it back. And whether it's like off-color jokes or things
Right.
that other people don't find funny that come to bite them, I understand that. I realize, right? But you know, to try to put yourself in a box or put rules on it, right? And,
Yeah.
and just being like, don't cross this line, or
Right.
be authentic, but don't be too authentic.
I'm ready. I'm ready for life to give me that feedback. So here's the way I see it is like, yes, when you grow in a company or move up in a company or your face is public, you're public facing,
Hmm.
you run risk. Like we're running risk objectively higher now than if we would have done this, 6 years ago,
Oh yeah,
because we have a little less. I'm not going to use the word freedom, but some people would perceive it as freedom in terms of being able to speak openly. But I now this is an entitled place to be because money's tight, gas prices are high, life is expensive. But I would say the goal is to find, because leadership principles, I don't care if you go here, to our company, some other company, they are good.
hmm
The leadership principles, the tenets of a company are objectively healthy and good, usually. If a bunch of people got together in a room and decided what are our core tenets, they're probably a good thing. Unless, I mean,
they're probably gonna be universal too,
they're probably universal. So,
right?
so my point is, if you are authentic, and if you really do align yourself with that stuff, because it's probably biblical, Quran, take the holy book, whatever, they're probably good things. So if you align yourself with good things and you are authentic, you probably won't not be free at the higher levels. You run a risk because every human's different, and you want to make sure you're in line with the company for your job security. But my challenge to myself is like, how can I be a human who's authentic and aligned with good things in general so that I don't have to filter myself? Like
Yeah,
that's the key to me, dude. Like,
yeah. And I'll say this we're talking about filtering now, right? And being genuine and transparent, but definitely a difference between obviously the content that I post and that we're talking about, right? Just professional growth and development,
yeah.
and just personal opinion too, as
Hmm.
well, on things in natures. But that's something I feel is there's a gap there on LinkedIn because everything can't be rainbow and sunshines.
Right.
There are things about the job that suck. There are things that people do that are dishonest or inappropriate.
Yeah.
We're all human, and that's the other thing too. Whenever I try to stress to people that I'm in charge of, right? As a servant leader of, I'm human. Call me out on my BS.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't get enough of that. Like I think that's why I love the conversations we have, and maybe you love it for me because who in our chain of command, up or down, calls us out on our BS?
Not freely. It's like
Not at
it's like
all.
crossing a line. Now,
Right. It's more like, oh, you didn't do this. Okay, but that's not like, why didn't you do it? Like that's the part, like pulling on the string.
that's the
When
risk.
when it's
Yeah.
like, hey, you would do this to me by this date, and it's like, oh, well, that sucks. But it's more than that sucks. It's like, why did you not do it?
Yeah.
Why can't we pull on that string and saying you didn't honor your commitments, or you didn't prioritize, or am I not important to you? Like we don't say those kind of things where it's like you weren't a priority to me.
Yeah. And I don't think that is inherently an issue.
No.
I just think you're in deep water as a leader and as a manager whenever you cross that personal boundary. The thing is, behind closed doors, it's an individual judgment. I'm not encouraging anybody aware that we're on camera to go out and cross personal boundaries. But if you've earned trust enough and and you're willing to take the risk of saying, hey, like, how are you doing? Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, what's beyond the deliverable? Then that is something I think that, like, helps people.
Yeah.
Because people have an opportunity, they feel safe, right?
Right.
Yeah.
See, that's now we're talking about some good points, right? Because it is, right? As your job as a leader is to create that environment. And I know we maybe make light of like a safe space nowadays, right? And people's feelings and everything like that. But genuinely, like a environment or a culture where it's like it's okay to maybe say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, make mistakes, but also call out mistakes and have, like I like to say, like, healthy friction, if you will, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't go along to get along. Genuinely, if we're out to better each other, then you got to call each other out on
Mm-hmm.
the unfun stuff, the flaws, right? So absolutely, right? If things we're trying to put out there in the universe, right, as just not even as leaders, right? Because sometimes people associate that with titles, but just as human to human, right, in our interactions, that you're able to, hey, you don't have to do it in public and put me on notice like that, right? But yeah, let's go behind closed doors, private conference room, private place, and have those uncomfortable but necessary conversations for us both to grow. Because shit, the whole reason for all this too is just communication too, right? When you pull it back to how we communicate to each other, right? And you're talking about authenticity and transparency, but like communication being a two-way street. And even like in our conversations that we have that seem to go on forever, it's because just the different lens at which we see it.
Mm.
And then for us in the moment to go, wait, I didn't think of it like that, right?
Yeah.
Like
Perspective is
genuinely,
everything.
probably like as intelligent as we are, right? And it's okay to say that, from just being a little bit humble but realistic, right? We're both pretty intelligent dudes, in our journeys and travels, and still being locked into a vision or perspective of our own making because of our backgrounds and experiences, right?
1,000%. Yeah, the funny thing is, there's a paradox here. I'm obsessed with paradox recently. If we go on this podcast as long as I want to, I'll talk about it all day. But the paradox is you should objectively frame life. But the more you frame it, the less accurate you will be because reality is more complex than a box. So, getting other people's perspective, especially when it's different than yours, and being open simultaneously, is one of the greatest gifts you can ever give yourself. Because if we see something differently, that doesn't mean that it's not valid on each end. It just means that reality might be more complex than our box. So the goal would be to become aware of the complexity of reality without getting overwhelmed with it, because it is overwhelming. There are people who have like autism are overwhelmed, and stimulus is so intense that it's hard to function.
All right.
Because reality in itself is complex.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry to get in the weeds, but like that's real, dude.
No. Like, yeah. And just for the audience and everybody, we get into the weeds and get on tangents and get philosophical at times. It starts out about like work and job and like, my boss did this and my boss did that, or I had this situation, or what do you think about this? And then it goes into, the paradoxes of life, the complexities.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is why our breakfasts are freaking awesome.
Yeah.
If we could do this podcast at Anita's and have like a live audience,
The guy there,
we could get some sponsorship.
If it had traction. I don't want to talk about that yet.
No.
But the guy who runs the place, I think he would like it. He'd be like,
why not?
He'd be all about it because he drives a nice car. He wants
Yeah.
If something had traction, I think he'd think it was cool.
Yeah,
I don't know,
absolutely.
just my soft read on the person.
No,
based
man.
on some ancillary crap,
No, and that's the stuff where like, you don't get to have these conversations in your normal day-to-day travels.
No, but I think we should, especially, yeah. The thing I don't like about LinkedIn, or one of the things I guess, is like the shallowness, the fact that AI can write your comments for you. I don't blame anybody for writing them, because we all are trying to live and provide for our families. And the thing is, dude, people have killed to provide for their families.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to judge somebody for making a post that doesn't genuinely reflect who they are? No, absolutely not.
Right.
Everybody's trying to make money to survive. None of us has to be on this planet, but we all have to survive on it.
Yeah.
And that's the best case. Like, life's tough, dude.
It is tough.
Yeah.
But okay, so we're going down this rabbit hole, which I love.
Sure.
It's like, if you're on this planet, what are you doing? What's your purpose? What's your drive? And coming back to when I met you, and yeah, maybe I um, was a little more genuine or authentic, and I appreciate you sharing that
You were.
feedback.
You surely
You know,
were.
because I felt like I wasn't in my journey, but um, I still didn't have purpose,
Mm.
and I think that's what everybody struggles with. And I think that the human nature default is to go family, kids, parents. You know, like family is right, absolutely, but it's the easy button when it goes, well, why do you do what you do? And they go, well, for my family to provide, right?
Because it's the right answer, not because they necessarily have it thought out,
Yeah, exactly, right. I mean, it is the right answer, absolutely, right. You know,
but it's got to be for the right reasons.
but see, then
Yeah.
I think you can have that and then some, or you can have a brighter north star, if you will.
Because you don't want to be empty too, right?
Right, because there was somebody I met too a while back. She had a son, single mother, and everything was about her son. And he was going off to college, and she was sad. And she's like, "What am I going to do?"
Mm.
And I remember being a little too authentic with her. She didn't like it, and I'll just share that. I was like, "Well, what happened if something happened to your son? Like, not just like something happened to him, but like, what if one day he called you up and said, like, I've found a girl. We're moving halfway around the country. Fast forward a year, and now he's like 100% out of your life. What's your purpose?" And she was like, she was taken back because she was like, her whole life was, I was a single mother, was to provide and take care of her son.
Yeah.
And it was so revolved 360 around
Right.
him. And I challenged her norm, and she was like, she was like, I don't know why you said that, Rico. She was like,
Yeah.
why would you say that? Like, she thought I was putting bad karma in the universe and being like, on the
Yeah.
what ifs. And if anybody knows me, I'm an up perennial optimist, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm always like, glass half full, obviously.
Yeah.
And I remember walking back being like, did I
You,
dig too deep? Like, because afterwards she treated me differently, right?
that's that risk you run in the office
Yes,
if you try to get
right.
real with people. Yeah.
But to come back, right, to that, like, what's your purpose? What's your drive, right? If you lock it into a thing and then that thing goes away,
Yeah.
what happens?
Yeah. That is, well, yeah, I was going to say, like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not immoral.
No, no, no.
However, life, the same way life can be more complex, your why should be rich. The richer your why is, like there's books written. Start with Why, right?
Yeah,
Simon
Simon
Sinek.
Sinek.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
So there's if there's a book written on finding your why, I think the argument in the book is very popular. I haven't read the book, but I know that if your why is complex and your why is deep, it has resilience against loss in life.
that's what I'm talking about, right? The
Yeah,
resiliency went, because that's the whole point to it. That's the whole
yeah.
point to when you have a shitty day, a shitty night, you don't get any sleep, you wake up,
Today.
there's a bunch of crap. Yeah, this man here put in the hours till 3 last night to make sure this was set up.
Yeah.
You know,
It was Chris Dove. Was Chris Dove at Aligned? He was,
he
right?
was.
Yeah, yeah. So like Chris Dove was like, "Hey man, this is exciting. You said you're going live. How you doing it?" And I'm like, "I don't know." So like basically order a bunch of equipment. Pretty janky setup, but the camera
No,
switching's cool.
no, this is awesome.
But like I was up till 3, 4 a.m.
Yeah,
like
right.
trying to make this
But
work.
exactly, right. And then, but you don't show up to this going, oh God, like,
No, because my why is
yes,
strong.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Yeah, when your why is resilient. And that was something that, like, once again, no shit, you helped get me on my path of being like, what are you doing here?
Mm.
And in Washington, like, after the first few books you sent my way, Simon Sinek was like right after that. And Simon Sinek is who I discovered. And when you talk about like why and leaders eat last and the infinite game, like, these are all things I'm
Mm.
throwing out there because the dude is wise. And it was the same thing for him, right? Just to draw parallels. He was very financially well, doing well for himself, working with a marketing company, but he wasn't satisfied. He's like, I'm burning in both ends, home and work, and I just hate life. Like,
Yeah.
what am I doing?
Yeah.
And that's when he's like, I need to find my why, and broke away, dug deep, and came out, obviously, self-help mentor, but it was from just his own journey and plight that we're all going through, where it's like,
Yeah.
what am I doing this all for? At the end of the day, is it just so I can, like, have a lot of stuff to hand off when I pass
Yeah.
away?
I wanted a Ferrari. I told Brian Poley, who's at Microsoft, I was in an office with him at Florida Power and Light, and I was obsessed with making money.
Right.
Obviously, you knew I was.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, I was like, I can't wait to like pull up in a Ferrari after Bitcoin takes off and like be like, I'm out of here, like as if that's something deep.
Right.
And dude, like, man, I'll pivot to like my why or who started me on that journey. I think I was looking for it, putting out to the universe for a while
Hmm.
of like, hey, what is this thing of life? I just want something more. I just want something more. I just want something more. And I was actually on a massage table. And shout out to Emily Winslow, who I think is in Arizona. But anyway, I was getting a massage from Emily. I never told you this.
That's awesome. You remember her name.
Oh,
That's
I
how much of
know.
an impact.
Oh, we were tight. Well, me and Carrie and her husband at the time were like really close.
Oh, okay, okay.
They actually brought us into that mentorship thing.
Got it.
Well, like, so that journey was interesting. However, being on the massage table, I was just like, man, I just want something more out of life. And this chick is a legitimate healer. She, so shout out to her for being like a healing human in
Hmm.
general. I would say all around. But she was like, let me get in touch with my husband, and he basically became like my mentor for a while.
Yeah.
And the journey never goes how you expect it to go, but that started me off on the path. Like, my point is, like, I think if you put it out to the universe and you're open and you're looking for something, it's amazing what you'll perceive. Kind of like that whole like, oh, look for a red car, look for a red car. All you see is red cars.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna find it if you
Right.
put it out long enough. You have a highly likelihood of finding it. Dude, this is a risky situation. So my cat, is like running around. We got a lot of wires around, and like the cat will trip something up. I know it's gonna happen. The camera's going down.
He started messing with it with his tails earlier before we started. I know you were panicking. You're like, do I need to put the cat out?
Yeah, and I'm like, you know what? Let's just run with this risk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
No,
hope.
absolutely. I think, see, and we mentioned it just in light, but that once again, that's life, right?
Yeah.
You can't control everything. And at
Hmm.
some point, you just got to do it.
Yeah, the reason we didn't do this before, from my perspective, was, um, ironically, we had less to lose objectively if like we were misaligned with the company or something. Because
Hmm.
that's another thing about. I was gonna say this or try to bring it up at some. I didn't do a lot of mental prep for this intentionally. I don't want to be scripted.
Right.
But one thing I did think about is like, you run a risk like getting on camera and being open. I think we already covered this topic,
Hmm.
but I care less now about my flaws because I'm willing to acknowledge that I have many of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, like the cat doing something wrong. This might not get like ideal viewership long term, but I do not care, dude. Like, like I just, like I said, the why is a lot stronger than a technical, like if the cameras are perfect or
Right.
if like, or if we get enough viewers, like, which it would be cool to hit double
Okay.
digits.
So another cool thing, why I would encourage other people not to do similar, but do something like,
Yeah.
because another thing I had when I started recording and doing video intentionally, not just for the authenticity, and I think there's more of a, we're visual creatures, right? So outside of the audio or just some text reading, like visually seeing somebody and making that connection and correlation, right?
Mm,
I wanted that, but on a selfish front, I was like, wouldn't it be cool? Because everything's digital nowadays, and it's forever. That in 100 years from now, an offspring of mine or somebody goes and says, my great great grandfather, or what was he like? Because I think about those things
right.
too, right? When you think about how we've gotten to here, and I mean, they always talk about like at some point in some time, somebody in your lineage, had to like murder people. Like when you talk about like killing to survive, when that was part of our history as humans, right? In conflict and battle and conquering lands and conquest. And, I have like Mexican and Native American background. So like just inherently just within the last 200 years, there's tons of conflict. And knowing that
How
for
lucky.
you to be here, right?
How lucky are we?
That person had
Yeah.
to murder somebody else so they stayed alive and the other person died, right? Like,
So we can do this.
yes, so we could do this, which is nuts. But it's like if he had a body cam or a camera on him, like going through his journey and just like what his day consisted of. Because outside of like life is so short, and like my I grew up with my grandfolks because my dad was in the military and he traveled a lot, and so there was a lot of times we were living back at home when he was on deployment or doing whatever. And so raised by my grandparents for a good percentage of my life, and they're gone. So it's like
Mm.
the memories that I have, they'll fade, and that
Yeah.
sucks.
After a
And
few generations, even if they last your whole life,
right.
half
And
of your
and for
generation's just
my
gone.
my daughter who's never met them, and I wish she would have. I mean, they held her. That's the extent of it. She's got pictures, but
Mm.
nothing more indelible for her to go, I make a connection to these people, or they're in my lineage, and
Yeah.
some kind of connection,
Yeah.
because they were just great people.
I think in general, like you heard the term NPC probably.
Hmm.
I think in general to like be an NPC would be like to live a passive life. And I don't think that's a bad thing, but like, maybe somebody's totally content with that. I have to know that my perspective is not the same as everybody else's or
Right.
even anybody else's.
Yeah.
But for me and for you and for so many people, maybe it's not doing a podcast, but like living your life intentionally
Yeah.
to where somebody could look back and say like, "Oh, this person did this. This defined
Yeah.
who I am partially today," or like this is like a legacy that they passed on, or this
Yeah.
is this is how they acted on life
Yeah.
and it inspired me. So like it's like I'm getting a tattoo for the first time in my life, and it's a sword which represents autonomy and control. And then an open hand below it that represents you have no control. It's paradox again. It's
Right.
it's you have no control. But it doesn't just because you have no control and life is chaos and we could die any moment, you should objectively take control of your life. Whether that means going on a run or like doing a podcast or being really intentional with somebody you love
Mhm.
or like just like act back on life or else life will control you and you don't want that.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
that's what misery comes from is
Yeah.
when you feel like you have no autonomy. So it's good to like fight back at that like the mechanisms or whatever is controlling you. Not out of spite, but just like in order to take control of your own life in order to feel like you're alive.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're just a zombie. And that's not a bad I'm not trying it's not a
No,
judgment.
I
It's just
know.
not a good
Yeah.
place to be in your head, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You keep putting like the warning on there of
I
like
do.
judgment, right?
I do.
And it's
Yeah.
true, right? Like, yeah, genuinely for like the audience at home, right? The things we're speaking to,
Or personal.
yeah, are personal and just our perspective. And we take it with a grain of salt. Like we say it all the time, we speak with zero authority, right?
Yeah.
Or judgment. It's just, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you can chalk it up as just opinion for the most part, right? Like when I talk about philosophy and why and having a bigger drive, and I'm like, oh, something resilient and tough. But you're right. Like if you just want to see, that's the other thing too about my grandparents, right? And I bring them up because they live such a simple life.
Mm.
And as I've progressed in my career, enriched not just personally but financially as well too, and I'm like, oh, if they could see me now and how proud they'd be of me, and how well off I'm doing, right? Because that sometimes is a metric for your offspring to do better than you. It's do they have a bigger house and nicer car and nicer things, right? But like they live such a simple life. Like my grandfather, I know I'm going on personal attention here because I'm thinking about him, but he was a cowboy, like straight up cowboy. Like he moved cattle from Colorado down to New Mexico and back up.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, like straight up sleeping under the stars.
I didn't know this.
And then he finally got a farm, but it was hard life, like being a rancher and all that is a hard life. So he's like, I'm going to go to California. I've got family out there because this stuff, it's tough being a farmer, being at the mercy of the seasons and other variables that are hard to control. And when he went out to California, he became a janitor at one of the local public schools.
Yeah.
And he did that for the next 17 years.
Yeah. Satisfied.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
dude, genuinely,
exactly.
like
Yeah, exactly.
when I experienced him, everything was great and fantastic.
Right.
He had a strawberry garden in the back and a cherry tree. And it was, very simple life, like not a lot of extra.
Yeah.
It was paycheck to paycheck, but life was great.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like envious of that almost, right? Like
Right.
genuinely like to be your world.
Yeah.
See, it sounds like judgment, but it's my grandfather.
This
And
is
I'm
good.
jealous of like his world was so small.
Right.
And it was like, I don't need any more. I don't need anything extra. I don't need to be more than who I am to provide.
The technicians who work the shift schedule at work.
Hmm.
They work 3 days on, 4 days off. It's
Yeah.
the perfect 4 days on, 3 days off. It's the perfect yin and yang life work balance. Like,
Yeah, you're there for 12
and you
hours.
clock out.
Yeah.
And I miss that in a way.
Hmm.
For me, why podcasting? I listened to podcasts. I do my rounds. I was on night shift for a long time.
Hmm.
And you were on night shift for a minute too.
Yeah.
I relied on podcasts and conversations like the ones we're having to feel like I was in a room with people to like help me figure out this life thing and also to not feel so lonely, like um tangent. What were you just saying? Oh, the
Yeah.
world perspective. I miss that a lot. And I would not have that. I don't have that now. I don't have that luxury of like 12 hours of just unadulterated time by myself.
Right.
To like listen to long form input like
Yeah.
that.
In perspective, when your world
Yeah.
was smaller.
So like there's something to it. So like when I'm in a one-on-one or like if I have like somebody who like signs up for my open office hours, I will like really try to figure out once I earn their trust, the first personal like encroachment is like, what do you want? Like what do you want? Because like it could be very different
Absolutely,
for
dude.
everybody.
Right.
Yeah,
And the minute you put something out there, you can't take it back. So you have to start with the open-ended, what do you want?
yeah.
Right.
Asking questions is always good.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude. Okay. So let's harp on this real quick because value give back, right? Like it isn't just us blabbing at each other and enjoying each other's company, right? Like, because I say that to other folks too, as a leader. I'm like, I have scheduled one-on-ones with you, but if you need my time, like I'm here for you. Like genuinely, we're both servant leaders. So it's like at the end of the day, you are a customer.
Yeah.
Nothing else matters. Like I tell them, I'll back burner everything for you because that's the whole reason I'm here. I get the privilege of sitting at this desk and having my office because I'm here to empower you and remove obstacles. So
Yeah.
if I'm not doing that, then I'm not doing my job. But you just mentioned open office hours. And I'm like, wait, am I not doing that? Do you find that successful to like, you just put an hour of like, hey, you can come just knock on my door and talk to me?
Yeah.
Does
But
it work?
it's for me. Does it work? Well, what do you mean by does it work? Does it
Does
take,
anybody freaking use it?
yes.
Okay, that's good.
But does it take up an hour and a half of like core business hours? Yes. So like it's really up to me to balance my core job
No, I know.
responsibilities. Now, I would argue
No, I'm
that
just saying to give back to other leaders, right?
yeah,
Because the more you can
yeah,
open up yourself to who you're
people.
supposed to be serving
Yeah.
as a servant leader, then that builds that trust and authenticity that we capture as leaders.
Yeah, I do that. And at one point, I haven't done it in a minute. Um, Shout out to vulnerability. I haven't done this. I used to do a Friday video. I used to like record myself talking on like what the hot topics were, release like
Dude, I
press
did the same
releases,
thing at
emails.
another place. Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah.
But I found myself re-recording. Well, sometimes I would just run it raw like we're doing right now.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'd hit record over and over and over again. And it took me a little bit of time to get all my prep together and then to like present that out. And I kind of stopped doing that.
How long a video?
10 minutes.
That's
Se-
perfect. Yeah.
7.
5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Just hitting the
Um,
highlights or yeah.
And I want to do it again specifically to shout out like technicians and people who are doing good stuff.
Yeah.
I want to do that again. I should do that again. I think I'm going to.
How about you
But,
commit to it right here on live?
I mean, yeah, it's objectively a very good thing. And if I have 10 minutes, I'll say
I'm asking you to commit.
I know that. Give me a second.
Of
Time management is, I will say my time management is not the strongest.
course.
So I have tools that help me. Some of them I'm making myself
Yeah.
that like help me reel that in.
Yeah.
But 10 minutes or 20 minutes or even 30 minutes towards projecting yourself out there and multiplying, force multiplier and all that,
Yeah.
1,000% I'll do
Well,
it.
coming back to the communication piece, right? The more you can communicate, like it's really hard to over communicate.
Accountability. Ugh.
But because I did the same thing when I was at Coresight.
Do you do it now?
No,
Are you ready to commit to this?
I am.
Okay.
No, we're both committed to it because it is
Yeah.
great because you're right. We're moving so quickly. For me right now, the challenge I have is trying to just get us all together and have that raw, like, this is me, not just I can't stand email messages of that kind of nature, right?
Same, yeah.
I don't feel like they don't land with me, so I don't expect them to land with others.
Yeah.
And when I was at Coresight, we would do like quarterly get-togethers, but I would do a weekly or even monthly, I can't remember, just a little video of myself to put out to the team. Because yeah, you know, we're 24/7. So you have front half, back half, nights, days, you know, when we're there, you know, swings, mids, and to make yourself be really available, but to have a video that's there
Yeah.
for that, like,
A shout out to you. If there's anybody who ever watches this on my channel, your topic. So there's one version of that, and it really depends on you. So the book Blink, another book that I listened to, I didn't read it. Uh, I read it. I don't know. But like the book's all about human perception and how much we like perceive in a short amount of time. And it's incredible. Like you don't even notice what you're perceiving, but you are perceiving it. So you could be getting on there doing a video about the week.
right.
One person sees it, or maybe you are a different person, but one person can watch that under some circumstance and be like, oh, that person has an ego, and they're just trying to like blast out how cool am I. Another person is like, wow, that guy's vulnerable, and he's just trying to be like, give us the business or give us the news. Um, this is your topic in the car the other day, is about the one person looking into. I would love it if you repeat that.
Yeah.
It's like one person looking into a
No,
cup. Yeah,
absolutely.
please, dude. That was
Yeah.
legit.
No, and once again, right, you know, we both seek out and crave, you know, these external stimulus, if you will, right, of growth and development.
Yeah.
And at sometimes when I feel like I've seen and heard it all, because I'm constantly on TikTok, but luckily the algorithms got me right because everything I've liked, and it's all like Simon Sinek and Jim Rohn and all these other like famous mentors that have come through life. Eric Thomas is another one that I'll throw out there. But to your point, I heard one where they were interviewing an old guy talking about like life lessons and advices and guidance to pass on. And I love that because some of that just can only come with a long journey in life, you know, no matter your path. And he said, he's like, when I look into your cup, I make sure that it's full. And when you look into mine, you see if I have more, right?
Yeah.
And it's just two similar acts. They're internal, right? You don't, you know, you're not going to verbalize that or communicate that outside of just your internal thoughts of like,
They're objectively the same.
yes, we both can look in and go, okay, and we step back. But what were we assessing, right?
Yes.
Do you have enough or do you have more than me?
Yeah.
And I was like,
I think humans perceive that over time. That's how a politician over time, the public becomes like, I don't trust that person. You know, like,
yeah, right.
Because they're saying the right things.
Yes.
You know, like,
yeah.
yeah.
They're like, I'm just checking your cup. I'm just checking your cup, right?
Yeah.
Thanks for checking my cup, but what are you checking, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's those little things, like you said, kind of coming back to the if you did a little video for your team, right, to have some another means of communication, of authenticity, transparency, genuineness, right? Because see, that's the thing too, like with text and email, you know, you have to read the emotions, you know, and you know, famous Key and Peele skit, right, when they're on the phone and the way he's saying it to each other. Oh no, they're texting. Remember, it's not on the phone. The Key and Peele skit where they're texting, yeah. And the one guy's like all happy, and the other guy's like, "What? I can't believe he said that," you know. And it's just like, that is true. That is human nature. So record yourself because there is emotion behind, like
it's
the
more,
face.
It's more authentic,
right?
And it's gonna relay who you are,
and
that's dangerous too.
And to come back to what you're saying too, you can't win them all. You got to be accepting of that. That is tough as a leader. Like I think early on,
and life will give you feedback,
right? And I think early on when people jump into leadership, too much people pleasing, and to the extent that you're like, you know, like I need to make sure like it hits everybody, right, in the right chord. So you'll overthink, you'll hold back, you'll be reserved, because if you do something that is perceived as risky, right, or like you said, you do something and you think, oh, this person's going to look at it as like, oh, me. Right. Look at me.
That might be a reflection that you are actually like that, or like have those drives.
Right. But I think if once again, if you're just accepting of, I can't control what I can't control, and you're doing it for all the right reasons, like your heart's in the right place. A famous boss of mine.
Is this a Chris Latier thing?
No. It's funny.
I do want to hear you talk about him.
No.
Like,
well, interesting enough, Billy Haggard.
Okay.
At Aligned. He was the one that found me at CoreSite through LinkedIn and said, I like your videos. I think you should come work for me.
Yeah.
So just putting a plug in there for LinkedIn, but also Billy Haggard. Billy Haggard, when we would have conversations of a difficult nature or like kind of coming into a room and saying like things aren't right, we need to figure out how to get on the right path. He was always like, always assume positive intent. Always assume somebody's coming at you for all the right reasons. And then the message lands differently, right?
That's great.
It is. It is. So if you just always assume somebody's not coming at you with judgment or reservation or, personal, objection,
Yeah.
that if you just assume positive intent,
Yeah.
then the message lands differently and you're more open to it, right? You're breaking down walls instead of putting them up when you're having conversations with somebody you've never known. So that whenever I do things, I'm like, always assume positive intent, and for myself too, right? Like, why am I doing it? Like holding the mirror and going, are you doing this for the likes and the love and self gratification? Or are you doing it selflessly because you know that if 5 out of the 10 people get the message, then you're 50% better off than you were before.
Yeah.
And because you made me think about it with the video where it's like, some people, it won't land. Some people, no matter what you freaking do, they're going to be like, it ain't for me and you're not for me.
Good.
And I had a recent experience with that, actually. Like last year, I had a recent experience with a builder that no matter what I did.
A builder, for everybody who doesn't know, is an employee. Yeah, yeah.
I know. The
In universal
lingo.
speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say technician, and then I was like, I don't want to say technician. I'll just say builder, but
Right.
another human being.
Yeah.
That one I'm going to keep more not personal.
Yeah, yeah.
Anonymous. There we go. Is the word. But
That's good. Yeah.
but yeah, and to this day, I still think that person doesn't like me. And other people who know or are aware of this are like, I don't understand. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't either, but that's not for me to figure out and not for me to solve,
Yeah. Maybe you could.
Isn't that weird
but you
to know
shouldn't.
somebody's out there and you've like done everything right by them? Like you have a body of evidence. Because I was having a conversation with another manager
Ah, dude.
and I was like, body of evidence, I have done everything right by that person. Like objectively, if somebody else was to look and analyze it,
Yeah.
and that other person they're like, man, you've really done good to them, and yet they still don't like you
Well, I'm not saying this
or
is
trust you.
I'm not saying this is the case, and this is going to be a really tough topic to bring up, but like, somebody is mean to everybody, hates everybody. Everybody's like, oh, what's that person's problem, or what am I doing wrong? And then that person like ends their life. And again, I'm not anonymity or whatever. I don't want to talk about a human, but like, then you're like, oh, it was them. Like, the thing is, it's never you. Everybody's perspective is their own, and usually nothing is personal. Like, it's usually a reflection of what somebody's got going on inside, at least to some extent.
Right.
It's kind of a paradox too, because you have to know that it is very possible that their life is broken and it has nothing to do with you. Simultaneously, that's not a good assumption, so you just have to go, I don't know, and move on. You
Yeah.
know? But it may also be worth your time. This is a balance thing. No single situation is the same.
Mm-hmm.
But it is also worth your time doing a little bit of thought, at a minimum, on what somebody else's perspective might be, because it might reveal something about yourself that's a growth area.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know what mine are. I have a few. Like,
So I have thought, just to complete this topic full circle, I have thought of like reaching out to this individual to being like, just taking him on the side and just asking the direct question, right? Because I think that's the other thing we sometimes avoid.
a message is good.
Well,
LinkedIn
just
message
being
or
direct and
something.
being like, what have I done? Like, what did I do?
Yeah.
Like, call me out on what it is.
Yeah, maybe do it on LinkedIn or some platform where they have no obligation to respond. And then it's not their obligation to respond.
Yeah.
What do you have to lose?
But see, now you talk about time, energy, and effort, right?
Right.
And you have X amount of
Limited.
hours in the day.
Well, you're bringing it up here, so maybe you're thinking
know.
about it.
Well,
Yeah.
no, I'm just thinking about like the fact of people not doing things that are probably in the best interest for the majority because they're worried about those that are where it won't land. Like you were talking about, right?
Yeah. It's
Like doing a video.
fear of exposing yourself.
Yeah,
Right?
doing a video as a manager so that way, you can relay things on a personal level with the emotion and the intent that you have behind them. Nobody does that enough.
Yeah.
Like you said, like, why aren't we doing it now? I did in the past. There's a lot of things I did in the past that, guess what, I don't do now. And what's my excuse? I don't have time.
Yeah.
You know what? That's BS, right? Like,
Yeah.
call yourself out, hold the mirror. Like, if I'm being genuine with myself, it's like, if it's important to you, you'll find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse.
Yeah.
And right now, when I find excuses like that, that's what, like, in my mind, I'm like, you're better than that.
Mm.
Or not, I don't want to say you're better than that, but like, you know better.
It'd probably fill your cup up more too,
Fuck.
man.
Yes. I try to keep the
Yes.
profanity down. So
No,
I
it's
stopped
cool.
myself there.
This is an adult
It is. It
podcast.
is. And we're both sailors,
I
but
put no children on there. Yeah, yeah.
but I want a broad audience.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to stand the test of time and be able to
Yeah.
go places.
You didn't say it, dude. You said fun or fire truck
Yeah.
or yeah, you said I don't know what you were saying.
There you go,
but
brother. Thank you. But yeah, man, it's hold yourself to a high standard, high regard. Like
Yeah.
I want to, like I think,
For stuff that's valuable.
right, and
For the win-wins, right?
well, for you and I, right, in this whole movement journey of our life, right, we want to just be high quality human beings.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I wish more people aspired to. Not so much of like your purpose or your why or leaving legacy or impact, right? You don't have to think beyond the four walls of your house if that is where you get your satisfaction and joy and fundamental purpose.
It's a hard journey.
But the thing is, you outside of going and living in the wilderness of Alaska by yourself and having no commitments to anybody but yourself in survival, we have to interact with other people. And I think with the internet and everything, how it's coming and it's shrunk our world.
It's easier to
that
recluse.
Well, I'm just saying, like, as we've become more interconnected and intertwined, and there's really no remote part outside of like, yeah, going into the wilderness, that you have to interact with other people. And if you're going to do that, try to be a high quality human being.
Or at least authentic, right? Yeah, because like.
Or that, yeah, say, yeah, if you're like, I'm a big a-hole.
Because somebody would say we have more connectedness now than we've ever had before.
Right.
But less simultaneously.
Right, but the connections are weaker, right?
Yeah.
We're more visible or transparent, but the empathy goes out the window.
Or more visible, not necessarily less transparent. Or
Right.
more transparent. Right?
Yeah, and it's just like,
yeah,
be a high quality functioning human being.
Yeah. I think this journey, as you're talking about this stuff, I'm thinking about my own journey and like anybody who would watch this and like wonder like the fear. So I started reading John Maxwell back in 2013, the servant leadership. Like for me, he's the genesis of that term. And I was reading those books, trying to figure out the words to say and the actions to like do to be matching with the rank that I had.
We had to talk about this a while back.
Yeah. So like I was like, you're doing the right thing, but you cannot be authentic maybe in the way that you'd want to be. Imposter syndrome is real, but you have to fake it until you make it to some extent. But that pursuit is not disingenuous. Another paradox maybe, but basically like you have to be willing to like to suck or to not be legit while still walking the walk, talking the talk, because you kind of have to in order to get to that next level. Like you can't read a book and be like, got it, switch flipped.
Yeah.
We're human. Growth is real.
Yeah.
I think one of the best things you could do, if I could go back in time, I would admit how flawed I am early. Because then people will forgive you a lot easier when you aren't legit. They'll be like, that person doesn't have it figured out, but they are trying. And that's the difference between that person doesn't have it figured out, but they're trying, and that person's a liar and a like not genuine and not legit. They'd be like, that person is just like speaking some words that aren't real.
Right.
But if you're like, hey, I'm new to this thing, I'm just trying to figure it out, then people are like, we're going to watch him fall occasionally.
Well, I mean, and that goes back to the stereotypes that put us into a dangerous position where it's like, I'm in charge now. I'm the boss. I'm the manager. I hold this rank. So I have to be squared away, know what I'm talking about. I can never be wrong.
Yeah, dude.
Because I'm leading the ship,
That was nuclear navy.
I mean, that's
the nuclear navy. You could not be wrong.
I know.
And that translated for the individual sailors at times. Now, this is culture from 10, 15 years ago. We're on public forum. Probably not a lot of people are going to watch this. Maybe they will. But like, I'm not trying to say the nuclear navy has something wrong. But when you're a young sailor and you're in your 20s or you're like late teens, you're like, I have to be right all the time. And that gets misinterpreted by the community as, I'm going to be right all the time no matter what. even if I don't know what I'm saying. You
Yeah.
know, like so that carried on
Well,
into my leadership days
yeah.
originally.
No, I know, and I obviously both of our background, heavily influencing us, but I don't think it's unique to the Navy. I think it's especially any large bureaucratic engine, if you will, and then even in corporate America over the last 7 years that I've experienced, there is plenty of that. Um,
It's a leadership principle at our company to be right a lot.
right.
So the pressure is there
Hmm.
to appear to be right all the time.
And see, let me introduce this question. When's the
Sure.
last time you've heard somebody say, I was wrong?
I think I say this.
No, 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 not you and I. I'm saying like externally, like somebody else within our chain of command.
I don't really mark it down. It happens occasionally, but not often.
I can't remember. I genuinely,
Yeah. You know, my boss, shout out to my boss, uh, has said it, and this is not like a hierarchy thing or like
mhm.
I was right over them. It was kind of impersonal. I'll just say for the purpose of this, it was unrelated to each other.
Mhm.
But they like one of the strongest points that they had was like something that stuck with me is they in private were like, and they admitted like, oh, I was wrong with my perception here or something like that.
Okay,
I think that's a major strength. And
that's good.
I'm not discounting what you're saying,
Right.
but in public,
Oh, right,
people do not do that easily.
right.
You know, like this. I mean, I don't want to give examples.
See,
Time
okay,
and
see, everybody, see, and that's the thing where it's like call out the BS because everybody goes, I'm human, I make mistakes. Like you ask anybody, and they will admit that they're like, yeah, I'm human, I make mistakes.
but on an individual
But
mistake
when's the last
basis,
time you said, yeah, I was wrong, I made a
yeah.
mistake publicly to just own it, right?
Mm,
Like that would be some authenticity and vulnerability that would make me go, I want to follow that person. I want to be
mm,
led by that person. Because that's the other thing too in leadership, right? Just talking out loud that and giving back, right?
mm.
People want to be led.
Yeah,
Genuinely people want to be led. Like even me as a leader, I want to be led. Like everybody wants to have something to
right.
aspire to and be, pulled towards.
Yes, my life is like I only have so much bandwidth. The way I see it, right? I don't think of it in terms of hierarchy. I think of it in terms of I only have so much bandwidth to focus on this. If this is the direction that I should objectively go, and somebody knows it, they will take my whole like bandwidth of what I'm paying attention to, and they'll reach into it and kind of just pull me in that direction. And I want that
Hmm.
because I'm so busy living my day to day that having somebody to be like, hey, remember to re-aim this way, come this way,
Hmm.
that's good.
Yeah.
And I like the vulnerability thing. So this could break into a whole nother topic. We might not even get into, and that's cool. The meat of what this podcast was going to be.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Right.
Uh, what just for the information of everybody before I go on this next tangent, if you don't mind me talking for a few minutes, is we were gonna basically raw just like hit up ChatGPT and be like, hey, what are 10 things that are really challenging as
Yeah.
leaders?
Yeah. Leadership
And
questions
then we were just gonna talk about them
off the
blind.
cuff, try to answer them.
Yeah, we might still do that, but like this tangent it takes a minute. So like it kind of I'm gonna try to full circle, do the weave, so to speak. But like the so a leader who is willing to admit their faults or flaws, is somebody who and if they're willing to do that without harsh judgment towards themselves, I think it lets your guard down as an individual because you're like, oh, this person isn't going to judge me harshly for being
Right.
flawed.
Yes.
Okay. So then that person who is leading you in a certain direction is not doing so with harsh judgment. They're just trying to lead you in a direction. And I think that's a huge deal. This is a general truth that's usually true is that the way somebody treats themselves or reflects onto themselves, whether it's self judgment, self hate, whatever negative thing, is likely the way they're going to treat other people too.
Hmm.
Something that gives me grace with people, if somebody mistreats me or mistreats somebody else, and I observe this, my first thought is like, oh, I hope the victim, so to speak, is doing okay. My second thought is, I hope the abuser or the individual hurting, causing the pain, I bet they talk to themselves that way too. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody's like, you're a piece of shit, I'm like, oh man, that person says to themselves that they are a piece of shit,
So
probably quite often. And that's like, that's grace, I guess.
No, I mean it's empathy. I mean
Yeah.
that's it's funny because
Well,
that's
it's
decent.
healthy. It helps you take things less
No, it's
seriously.
decent
Yeah.
for you to think of somebody where it's like I don't completely blame them because they probably do it to
And
themselves.
I do it for me
So
so I don't take stuff personal.
right,
'Cause it's never personal.
or put them, put build a wall to them, because I think that's the other easy button too, where somebody goes,
Build up a wall.
they see somebody doing something like that, and they go, well, I'm not going to interact with that person,
Mm.
and we don't seek to learn or understand like where that's coming from.
Yeah.
And that once again goes back to like being a decent human being. It's like when somebody cuts you off on the road and your instant reaction is they're a jerk, they're an a-hole, they deserve the worst in the world, right?
Yeah.
And they could have just gotten the news that, they've got something terminal or
Yeah.
somebody in their life passed away or they got fired.
Yeah. So Billy's
They don't know how they're going to pay their rent.
right. So Billy's advice of like now it catches most scenarios because like if you assume somebody has exactly
Positive
intent,
intent. Yep.
that's probably going to cover 99% of issues. There, when somebody comes into my office and they're in a bad mood, and it has nothing to do with necessarily positive intent, but they're like breaking down or they're really angry, or it's obvious that they are not good, I try to picture, and I've told this to my, people who work with me, I try to imagine that that person is maybe having the worst day of their life or having the worst day that I ever had at work, which was so bad I could hardly function. Assuming that, not for the sake of being accurate, but for the sake of being empathetic towards the human condition and like how, because we're all going to die.
Yeah.
That's where it starts.
Yeah.
And then it's pain along the way,
Yeah.
So like empathy.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have once again hit a nerve, which I love, and being very authentic, right? When I think of my worst days, sorry to say, but it was in the military. And there was times when I was a piece of crap. I was acting like a piece of crap. My life felt like crap. And there were times leaving the shipyard, going home, that I wanted to drive into oncoming traffic.
Yeah.
Because I thought the world and my family and others would be better. And I would be better served if, and I say that with reservation here, because I am one who I've had friends take their lives,
Yeah.
and I do not, to me, suicide being, permanent solution to a temporary problem. I do not advocate for it. I'm completely against it. Like, I think it's one of the most selfish acts you can do, in thinking that you're doing the right thing, but also knowing that I have had those thoughts on my worst day.
Same.
And obviously because of my convictions and beliefs, never acting on them, but to put that out in the world where it's like, I've had some awful days where it's like you boil yourself down to the world's better off without me. And that's a terrible place to be. But like you said, like that is genuine as a leader to go, this person is coming into it with the wrong attitude or mindset, but I'm going to look at it from the lens of they're having the worst day possible. How can I help them?
Yeah, dude, I'm on the verge of tears because I'm thinking about all the people I know who've ended their life. And like yourself, I've been driving home and you just have that picture of like swerve left, that imagery.
Yeah, it's so
comes
simple.
in your mind.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just like, I also have the whole like, what if I touch that button syndrome? So sometimes it's like that. Maybe it's not tied to suicide, but dark days are real.
Yeah.
You know what
They happen to the best of
I
us.
was about to cry over the people that I've seen go.
Yep.
And then B, the idea that like best case, man, we have these conversations and we just want to let people know that we love them and we like help somebody, like
Dude,
that shit hits me hard.
see,
dude.
that's, oh man.
Yeah.
Did,
Shit. I'm crying real and I'm
did
not.
we need tissues for this? Because I didn't think that was going to
Can you-
happen.
Can you hook me up, dude?
Oh, yeah.
I don't need. This
No.
is performative. I don't need it. Yeah.
No, man. Like, see, and that's the other thing too. Like in vulnerability and honesty, where it's like, you want to mention, you mentioned him earlier, Chris Letier, right? And I told you he's one of the best bosses I've had, right? Like him and you are like on my.
I texted him the tactic. He's a busy dude. The tactic that you told me about that he does, I reached out to him and was like, "Thank you for this tactic because I think it's really good." Please though, yeah. Just
Oh,
continue.
I was just saying because like being vulnerable and crying and maybe from our military background where it's like you got to have that bravado and that toughness and that armor.
Talk about
But
just being a man.
but yeah, like I cried more with that guy, in his office over good and bad. But it to me, putting labels on things, it was the human experience. And so to know, like, to me, I think if you can cry with your boss, like that is a connection and a bond that stands the test of time and speaks to the transparency and honesty where you both can be in tears for whatever reason. And it's okay. Like,
Mm.
because that's part of life. Like we can laugh and have the highs, but you can have the lows and you can cry and everything in between. Tears of joy, tears of sadness. Like to me, I feel, and I've heard this from other people where they say, if you've laughed and cried in the same day, then you've had a full day.
Heck yeah, dude. I've had a
Right.
few of those. Yeah. Lately, even. Thank,
Shit.
thank God.
So
Yeah.
while we're crying, and getting emotional, it's Mother's Day. I don't know if that was intentional with
It was my first thing I was gonna say on the podcast.
Happy Mother's Day.
I put it in the post. Good thing only I think one or two people were watching, so I doubt. Well, that from the people who liked, the odds of it being a mother are pretty low. But if it was,
Right.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah,
Dude. So
yeah,
unsung heroes, like, and because you were like, I messaged a couple of my family who are probably going to be the only ones watching, right?
my father. Yeah,
Subscribed in and
yeah.
tuned in, locked in as parents are. But
I do want to interrupt
please.
and let's get the Mother's Day message out right after that. I'm gonna check my phone and
Okay.
check YouTube to make sure we're not just talking to each other.
Okay. Yeah, do
But
that.
please.
Right. So I was like, well, shit, let me message my sisters, like they love everything I do. They're so supportive. So I messaged them this morning before I left to come over here to saying, hey, I'm going live on YouTube with my buddy, and
Yeah.
if they want to follow, I didn't, no pressure, but I was just like, hey, check it out. Right. Or whatever. And I know they'll probably take a gander. And,
Yeah.
cause I mean, I'm the big brother. Right.
Yeah.
So, that's part of it, but I do play the role and they play the younger sister role well
Yeah.
in that regard, even though they're older now. But yeah, my mother passed away 3 years ago, and I mentioned that on LinkedIn about 2 months ago because there'd been a pretty good gap
Yeah.
between when I was really active to when my mother passed away, and it was really difficult for me to just go on LinkedIn or make videos, because I don't want to say, part of me wants to say like imposter syndrome, but I just didn't feel like myself because of that void that had been removed. And so here, just in speaking to like the people that have influenced us and played a role in us, like for me, part of my motivation through life of being a higher quality human being was because of her,
Mm.
and and like I saw the struggle she went through because she was a single mom with me and struggling to persevere in life and have impact in herself within her family and do her parents proud, but also do her children proud. And so when she passed away very suddenly, like for me and my sisters, she was that rock, and
Yeah.
and that motivation for me. Like anytime I ever went to go take a new job or promotion or think of a change in life, she was the first person I called to being like, "What do you think, Mom? Like,
Wow.
am I doing the right thing? What's your thoughts?" And it was always, she always knew what to say. Like, like, how do you learn that skill as a mother to like know exactly what your son needs to hear, and then to lose that? Like, I have other whys and purposes and drives, but she was one of the biggest. And so, yeah, man, Mother's Day still 3 years later, like I love it. If you have your mother, call her right now. If you have not called her,
Mm.
to thank her for everything she's done or is continuing to do. Because, like, genuinely, being vulnerable right now, me and my sisters don't have that option.
Yeah. Wow. Don't talk to my mother like right now. It's been a while. This is like a whole nother topic. And I'm willing to talk about it. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this the way we're doing it.
Yeah.
I'm going to start by saying that I think distance from her has given me the space to love her very deeply because I no longer hold an expectation that she's perfect or is even close or even 10% perfect
Mhm.
or 10% great. I think the second you really look back and you can remove the emotional attachment from things, while you might be able to give the emotional attachment in the right ways. So if you remove the pain, you can take a break and like analyze something objectively. I think this is true with a lot of relationships. You know, you mentioned Billy or previous bosses, like no relationship is perfect.
Mhm.
If you have even a hardcore abusive relationship, and I'm not implying that mine was,
Right.
or I'm saying, but from the whole spectrum of like good to the worst,
Yep.
if you have a complex history with a human, just saying the word complex means there was good and there was bad.
Right.
If you can give yourself the space to like look at that objectively and be like, what was beautiful and wonderful about this, then you might be able to love that person very deeply and take the lessons while being able to dismiss the negative without having these expectations that these people are heroes. People look at the president, they'll look at Jordan Peterson or Sam Harris, they'll look at all these influential people out there in the public,
Mhm.
and they'll say, like, good, bad, because us humans like to put things in boxes. So we'll be like, great, bad,
Got to label it.
top dog, wrong, you know?
Yep.
And
Left and right.
yeah, left and right, up and down, religion versus non religion, one religion versus another, tribe versus tribe,
Yep.
whatever.
You
The thing is,
versus me.
if you can take a step back and you can be like, oh, I'm human and I'm flawed. Oh, these all the rest of them are human and flawed. Maybe they have great points.
Yeah.
Maybe they're also dead wrong.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Right.
I'm not even maybe it's possible I'm not even one to judge what's right and wrong.
Mhm.
But if something resonates with you from somebody, whether it's your mother and her beautiful, wonderful love that she gave you,
Right.
along with the negative, or a person out there in public,
Yeah.
universal,
Yeah.
you should try to, once you realize, oh, I'm flawed eternally and that's okay, realize that everybody from your mother, your father, to the people out there in the public eye,
Yeah.
all human too, and all capable of being wonderful, great
Right.
acts.
Right. And I mean, just for context too, right? Like there are plenty of things my mother did in her history that are not admirable, or you'd be like, that
Mm.
was jacked up, right? Like once again, being human.
But she raised you right.
Tell me about it, dude. Like, yeah, all the right
Yeah.
reasons. And
And my
you
mom did too.
see, I
Yeah.
appreciate you sharing about your mother because maybe a different experience
The
for
challenge is
sure.
I
But
need to write her a letter at a minimum,
yeah,
if not reach out.
but see, and on the antithesis of that, my dad, right? I haven't talked to him in a long time, like over a decade.
Mm.
And same thing, like I just recently had a coming to Jesus, if you will, where it was like, I'm not mad at him anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
You gave yourself the space.
Yes, exactly. To being like, I love and care about him, and I'm over carrying the baggage, the weight,
Right.
right? The resentment.
Because
Or
the weight of him being your father is inherently huge. It's hard to just see him as another human until you give yourself the distance. Is that
right.
true?
And also just, once again, like you're talking about like either the labels or, being fixated on just one part of that human experience.
You were supposed to be X to me?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And definitely, like for me, it was just like the wrongs was all I could see,
Mm-hmm.
and I could never see it balancedly, or not even, I won't say objectively, because at the end of the day, I think he has more flaws than positive attributes, right? Truthfully. And, but just letting go of the hate that was the connection or the attachment, right? Or the resentment or the wall, if you will, right?
Yeah.
And just being like, if he had called me yesterday, I would never have answered the phone. And if he calls me today, I'll pick it up.
Wow.
And that's okay.
Wow.
Because
This is good, dude.
yeah, no, I mean, this is okay. So once again, for the audience, this is what we do at breakfast. We go the full gambit. It goes from
Kind of amped up because now we're also subject to, well, we're not perfect, but I think coming to these realizations live like this it amps it up a little bit.
well, it's
Like,
cathartic.
yeah, and I said on the post, I was like, I don't, if anybody benefits from it, at least you and I will.
That's always the case, right?
Yeah.
See, and that's dude. See, that's the thing in just being like a high quality human being. Because if at the end of the day, if at the end of the day nobody else gets it, everybody sees this, or anybody who experiences you goes, "You're the problem with the world." Like, so be it. I can't control your
Yeah.
reception of what I'm putting out in the universe.
Yeah.
But if I feel better, I mean, and not just for self gratification, but if I feel like I'm functioning as a high human
living
level,
life better.
yeah, right, absolutely, right. It's it's one of those ones. Like I think definitely for us here in the moment, if we touch each other's soul, right,
Yeah.
and we walk away from this going, that was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I feel better for either sharing, being vulnerable, being honest, giving feedback, expressing things. It's like one of those ones when like you just want to cry, but you don't let yourself do it. You got to find an outlet to like let it out. You can't bottle things up. I mean, that's one of the worst things you can do, whether good or bad, right?
Yeah.
Because it'll come out when you don't want it to in an unhealthy way, most likely. But just to be able to, yeah, like even if people see this and they go, I need to find my Rico or my Craig in my life because either I do have them and I'm not fully using them, BFF that you never talked to in years, but you can always count on them. So maybe I just need to pick up the phone and saying, hey, let's have some coffee. Like I did with Chris Letier the other day, right? We were talking about him and I'm like, yeah, he was my boss, but like we were more than that. Like he's somebody who's touched my soul. And so I was like, hey man, we haven't spoke face to face in like 2 or 3 years. Let's go have some coffee.
Yeah.
And he's a busier man than me with everything he's got going with his family, new kids.
He still made time.
Yeah. He was very deliberate too. I love that about Chris. He's very much,
I've got 30 minutes.
I've got 30 minutes
Yeah.
and I'll give you 30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
I will honor that commitment because I made that to you, right?
Right.
And he was always big about renegotiating it if he needed to, like very deliberate, which I love, and how he scheduled and prioritized.
Yeah.
If I say you've got 30 minutes, I'll give you 30 minutes. And if I show up 5 minutes late, I'm going to honor
Give
the
you
30
5
minutes.
minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah, I did this recently.
Yeah, dude. And
Yeah.
so, but just to make the commitment,
Yeah.
because he was like, hey, Thursday at this time, that's all I got. I'm like, I'll take it. And to have coffee with him and catch up. And even though it was so brief, and I was like, I wanted to talk to him for hours,
Yeah.
and I immediately want to be like, let's do this next week. But just doing it and inviting it, right? And that creating that space
Yeah.
and seeking it out to just connect with another human being that you've passed in your journeys.
Yeah. I have a sense that I'm myself, maybe we, fortunately, are about to enter a phase. Well, I know I'm about to enter a phase of my life where I need to guard my time aggressively while simultaneously being open to giving my time freely. What's the paradox there, right?
Dude, it's just real quick. You say paradox.
All
I
the
say
time.
dichotomy,
Yeah.
or two sides of every coin. I
They're
think
the-
there's a yin and
I-
yang to
they're-
life
they're
that
pretty
people
much
don't
the same.
respect.
I think my opinion is if you can say two things that are objectively opposite but also true,
Yeah.
that you will be more open to the nuance between them,
Right.
which means you'll be able to handle things on a case-by-case basis versus having a dogmatic view on life.
Right. If you can be open to both possibilities, good and bad.
Then you're probably more open in general.
Yes,
Right?
exactly. Right. If you're open to the fact of my convictions, my beliefs, I'm right, and I feel solid in that, but also I could be 100% wrong.
Yes. I think that's valuable.
That's so valuable
Yeah,
because it's a difficult muscle to exercise
yeah.
because we want to have a foundation in our life. You don't want your world to be shaky.
You want order.
Yes. And you
And-
need it
Yes.
to know like, oh, what I'm doing is at some degree the right,
Right.
but also open to the fact that it could be very wrong.
Checking YouTube.
Please. I was going to get my phone out just because I was like, definition between paradox and dichotomy, because
I don't have any texts or calls, which is a good thing.
okay.
Somebody
Oh, we're doing
would've-
like a little phone check here.
Somebody would have messaged me and been
Funny enough, both of us in our industry are like on call right now too. So
like, yeah, I'm do not disturb, but I am allowing calls right now. All right, so we got that.
the cat wants to get in the mix now too.
Oh, heck yeah. Okay, hey, dude, we're still looking good.
Yeah,
I think we're live still.
I think we're live still. Nothing's gone.
And we have 9 people. I shouldn't have said it. Joel says hi.
Dude, another great human being in my journeys. Like you talk about high quality. See, that's the thing. Like the more high quality folks you can add to your circle, and they talk about this, like as you get more resolute in yourself,
Yeah,
your list, if you will, of friends and family shrinks. But it's for all the right reasons because you filter out those that are not genuine or authentic.
man.
No, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Kinda.
and
I'm gonna give the
and
opposite.
it sounds like judgment, But really, it's more like what matters to you. And it's having high quality connections, not a lot of connections.
True.
And it's interesting because in our day and age, right, between YouTube, TikTok, and everything else in between, Twitter, it's like I need to have the likes and the follows, and I need to get the viewership and the
It's
sponsorship.
true on LinkedIn too, especially because it's attached to your career.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Please
Yeah,
continue.
but so right when as you progress,
Do you mind?
no, I'm trying to roll with it. Just
Yeah.
life happens. Like I want to just take it and throw it.
Are you allergic to cats?
No, but my wife is, so I'm gonna have to wipe myself down,
All right.
sanitize myself.
Odie, come on, dude.
I know,
Yeah.
wants to be a part of it. I dig it, but yeah, when your list shrinks for all the right reasons, but never let it get to zero, and be seeking out those that are within alignment
Yeah.
of what you're seeking. High quality human beings
I would argue. Okay, so I'm gonna
like Joel. That's what made me think. Because
please talk about Joel.
yeah, man, he played a huge factor in me getting a job at Coresight, and then he mentored me and coached me up until the point that he left, and I took his position. Whether I was ready for it or not is a different story. But and even coming to
Cat. Please
Amazon,
continue.
right? He was a huge driving factor on that. Of like when I was like looking for the next role, and he's like, "Dude, come check it out. Come
Yeah.
be a part of it." Right?
Yeah.
And obviously, you and I, we've been talking, so you've experienced it, and I've been able to share cathartically your experiences there. But yeah, Joel, like right now, like of the people I've named, on this podcast here, that is a high quality human being. Like he is
Yeah.
somebody that you need to connect and network with.
I don't know him well.
You should, man. You just to have a cup of coffee with that guy, like the energy from him,
He's living life. I can see
dude.
it. Yeah.
Like he is living his best life.
That's cool.
I love it. I love and see, that's the thing. I love just experiencing his posts. When you talk about authenticity and transparency, and just putting good energy out in the universe.
Yeah.
It's like you have this bus of people that you're taking through your life and journey, right? And maybe the bus gets shorter, so you have to be more selective of the seats, because you talk about like your time and energy, right? And what really matters,
Yeah.
and making sure that you're creating the space, but also you got to be really mindful of that time you give up, because you can't get it back.
Mm.
And so then you think of like, I've got a short list of people I can keep on this bus, in a healthy frame of mind. And that becomes tricky because, I don't want to say it's like judgment or selectivityness, but it's just making sure that those high quality folks that have come through your journey, you don't let them get off the bus either.
Accountability to keep living this life.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yes.
It is hard. The journey's tough, dude. When I was mentioning Emily, who started me on the journey,
Mhm.
that start of that journey represented, in a way, do you want some more coffee? You germophobic? 'Cause
No,
I got it.
no, I'm good, brother.
All right. It represented one of the hardest times in my life of trying to figure out how to be authentic while also being X, Y, and Z. It was stressful. I'm glad I was on that journey. It's richer. It's better. It's a better life because of it.
Right.
But it's long and it's hard and challenging. So I think you're onto something. If somebody's like getting off that bus or they're losing wind, could be chemical imbalance, could be depression, could not even be circumstantial. It could just be your like your genetics.
Yeah.
But like carrying each other along on this thing, well, human connection is literally during the hardest, whatever, dude. Human connection. Oh, don't. Allergic wife. Don't. Odie's a very spoiled cat. Well, I wouldn't say that. He's just loved. But carrying people along on that journey or encouraging people to keep on that journey is good. If I didn't have people to hold me accountable, or I wouldn't say connect. I'll just say connect.
Mhm.
I don't know how I would do it. I need you. I need close people I'm close to.
Yeah.
I was going to give a flip side of the coin. I have found in the last year or two, my vulnerability, my openness, has resulted in a lot more friendships. And I consider all of them good. I don't have the bandwidth to like give them all the individual attention that I'd love to, because time is.
Yeah, but what does that mean though? When you say
What does
give
it
them the
mean?
bandwidth of the time, like how much do they need? An hour? 5 minutes?
Like my buddy down the street is cool. He's I'll shout out Mark Good. He's a firefighter, and he had a rough life, and he came out and he grew from basically all of it.
Yeah.
And he's one of the most like physically impressed. Oh my gosh, the cat. He's one of the most physically impressive people I know as far as he takes care of his body.
Right.
And then over the past couple of years, I don't know how long, but he started really taking care of his mind.
Yeah.
And he's just like
Oh yeah, you mentioned this guy before.
he's a
Yeah.
top tier
All right,
human,
right.
in my opinion.
Uh-huh.
But I spent, oh dude, I gotta move the cat. Odie's grabbing the cords. It's not good.
Is he really gonna do something?
Well, you
He
know,
gonna tangle himself up in it?
he could, dude. He just wants attention.
This is why I have a dog, man.
No, dude, the cat's cool. The cat's basically a dog. I'm serious. The cat plays fetch. Oh no, Odie, don't do it.
Oh, he's
No,
trying to chew on it,
no,
man.
he won't do it. He's just trying to get attention, dude. He knows. He knows. Odie,
He's like, you've talked too long. Wrap this crap up.
was that a hint from you?
No, not in for me.
No,
I'm joking
Mark.
in jest.
But Mark, I always like, hey, dude, we're gonna spend all Saturday together.
Yeah.
Talk about living with intention. Okay, so we're talking about living with intention in terms of like taking action on life.
Yeah.
Intention with your time
Hmm.
is like exactly that, or another.
You saying you're
advertisement.
going to give your whole day to another human being?
I
That is
said-
currency.
I said, Mark, and we came up with it together because his life is in flux. My life is in flux. I was like, bro, let's bro out on a Saturday and just take the whole day.
Right.
And the intention, it didn't end up working out exactly how I thought it was, but the intention alone
Right.
made that day beautiful.
Yeah.
So my point is, I would love to do that with Mark every Saturday.
And I'm sure there's other people you love to do that with.
I would love to do that with you
But you
every
can't.
Saturday, but I can't.
You physically can't.
I know.
And that sucks.
It does suck.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying.
So what's your feedback? 'Cause
No,
like,
my feedback is like, yeah, it's like I'm challenging and putting it out there to be like, oh, keep those connections, right?
well, you also
and at the
said,
same
you also
time-
said your circle gets tighter.
Right,
And
your
I'm
circle
like-
gets
I'm
tighter.
like, my circle's getting bigger.
Right, but
Yeah.
that's the thing too is I look back on when I talk about people along my life's journey, and I could just start naming people where even even just in the small interaction of people I've worked with, or
You had two bros reach out to you on your LinkedIn. I saw your post
yeah,
about doing this,
yeah,
and they were like, I was your BFF first.
Michael Belliardo, dude, man, I'm glad you brought his name because that's the same thing. I haven't seen that guy since I left the freaking Roosevelt
Yeah.
over 15 whatever years ago or so, right?
Yeah.
A decade or so ago, right? Yeah, like me and him used to party, but he at a deeper level outside of like just hanging out and drinking.
Yeah.
A very high quality person, right? Somebody who like if I called him up today and said, "Hey, I need you," he would be there for me, and vice versa. If he called me up and said, "Rico, I'm in a bad spot," like that's awesome. Like somebody that for however long, and he's not the only one. And because I saw his name, I thought of all these people through the military
Yeah.
that I've had a connection or resonated with. There was another Navy buddy who posted on there too. And when I see that, I'm like, this person's still alive. Thank Jesus, they're still alive, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the world is better with them in it. And I think the same thing. I'm like, do I message him? Do I call him? Do I invite something more than that?
Right.
Do I need a bro day? But like once again, time being the most valuable currency.
Yes. Your family is larger than mine too.
And it's just and so it's like it pains me that there's not two of me or that there's not more than 24 hours in a day,
Yeah.
because I would give so much time to fostering those connections or keeping them more like the flame going, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes when I feel like it's flamed out and then he comes out of nowhere and says, "Hey, I was your BFF first," and I'm like, "Hell yeah, you were," right? Like to me, like to make that kind of impact on somebody and not realize, like I can know for myself, if he called me, I got his back, but knowing like out of the blue, he comes and seeks me out, like that humbles me and goes, yeah, he touched my soul, but I touched his.
Yeah.
And I know he's not the only one. And so
Yeah.
where we're going with this, right, of just like, I'm advocating to like keep the right people on the bus, but the bus gets smaller because your time gets more precious. And yet it's like, how do we ensure that we're
Well, I think you hit it.
inviting it with these high quality interactions?
I think. Well,
What? Am I off tangent?
no.
I'm
No,
making sense, aren't I?
Oh yeah.
Because that's an important part of this.
No, but I want to tie it.
I don't want to
back.
feel like I'm just saying things and you're holding me accountable.
No, the views will tell us over time. But even worst case, we'll just
No, that's what I'm
enjoy
saying. Like
those. No, you're
I
saying something good,
right.
and I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. I think what your friend did, reciprocating and like letting you know that reminder of how close you were,
Right.
is independent of time. So to tie it back to the theme is if you live your life with intention, both with your time and with your relationships and with like acting on the world,
Hmm.
you're going to make impressions on people along the way.
Yeah.
So if you're being your authentic self and really trying to get out of the zombie default state, you will make impressions on people, good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah.
The good ones, you'll get reminded of them years later. I think it's a side benefit, like making impressions and living, connecting with somebody or living an intentional life
Yeah.
in some way, shape, or form, whether it was I'm getting wasted tonight or I'm like really going to give this person a piece of my soul.
Yeah.
Those things transcend time and are positive. So even though your time gets more precious and shorter, I don't think it's wasted. So right now, Carrie and I are trying to have a kid, and other commitments are making life probably going to take my time up too.
Yeah.
But it is worth it living with intention and like making impact on people because those things will transcend time. I have a good friend, John, from the Navy. We went years without talking, maybe 1 year or maybe half a year,
Yeah.
but it transcends time.
Yeah. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's the kind of that is the stuff that I love too.
yeah,
Um, you made me think of a famous quote by Maya Angelou that I say frequently to myself and other folks, where it's like, people don't remember what you did for them or what you gave them, but they remember how you felt, how you made them feel. That's
Andrew,
indelible,
yeah. I have that on a poster in my office.
right? Because whenever I lead with emotion, and it's tough because everywhere I've ever left, Navy and every other job, I've been in tears. I was sharing this with somebody the other day we were just kind of getting to know each other on LinkedIn, and we reached out and talking to me about how I've led as a leader, and it was very much, I'm like, it's tough, but with emotion, like that raw vulnerability where you're leaving for hopefully all the right reasons, but you're still in tears because you love them, like
Mm,
you genuinely love them, and
mm.
like that chapter's closing to a degree, but
Good for you, brother. I think I've only reached that level of like reflection in the moment, like crying and laughing in the same day,
yeah,
fairly recently compared to what you've experienced. That's a gift, dude. Congratulations to you.
dude,
Like,
dude, when I came to Amazon,
yeah,
I told myself I was going to hold back a bit because it's so freaking uncomfortable to be 100% committed to something to the point that, yeah, you're like, I love this thing and I don't want to walk away from it.
yeah,
And, but I told somebody, like, from my military days, I love that brotherhood, sisterhood, if you will,
mm-hmm,
like that we both experienced, coming up through the ranks, but coming through the journey and the strife and the tribulations and, the brothers and sisters in arms, if you will, right? And knowing that you got each other's back, like fundamentally at a life or death situation that a lot of people don't get to experience.
yeah,
For me, I feel like everybody should do military service, if not just for a little taste of that, because I think
yeah,
we don't exercise that in the workforce, where everybody's like, oh, work is work, life is life, but also like, this is just a job at the end of the day. Like we can get along and we can support each other,
yeah,
but but we hold back, you know.
yes,
And I try to do that going to Amazon, but it I'll say it failed to a bit because I felt like I wasn't leading 100%,
right.
and I did not like that. And that was something I kind of turned around in 2026 subliminally. Like
Well, you left a scope of work that was like you had a breath of fresh air coming to your role,
mhm.
and you take that breath, and then it's your decision on when you want to like re-engage with X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, I think that was part of
Yeah,
it too, because I had a little bit of a health scare or concern. So
yeah,
that was part of the reservation, where it's like I needed to be a little more selfish than I have in the past to make sure that me and my wife and my family were resolute,
yeah,
resiliency going forward in our journey.
right.
So I think there was a bit of, once again, time, energy, and effort where it's like, I had to definitely hold back from work
Right.
intentionally to reserve that for myself. So there was a bit of safeguarding in the energy. But now that things have come full circle, and health is what it is on the up and up, that
Yeah.
can start leading with deeper connection.
Yeah. I want to back away from all the HIPAA laws we're violating. I'm just kidding. No, I want to what you said. You were talking about the Navy and why relationships are so strong there.
Yeah.
So the most beautiful things are born out of pain and suffering. That's true.
Yeah, it's like being in prison together.
Yes. But it's true. The worst pain in my life breathed the best things of my life. It's a choice. It's like, are you ready to go through the gauntlet? I will say to anybody who's like going to watch this, or, like, I don't speak from authority on much, but I will say from experience that pain is never as bad as you anticipate it being, or at least it's different, and it doesn't last as long as your brain, because your brain perceives pain as an end, like an infinite thing. Pain happens in moments. Pain happens maybe sustained, but it's usually not as bad as you anticipate it being. A. B. And I'm talking about exposing yourself to failure.
Mhm.
If you like, some of the things we're talking about, but you're like, oh, I have that fear of failure, exposing my weaknesses, all the above,
Yeah.
embarrassment. Um, sometimes some people will start practicing vulnerability, and the feedback that work gives them or that life gives them of like, you're saying horrible things and you don't belong here, or or like you are excluded from the tribe. That's feedback.
Yeah.
But you should get that feedback.
Yeah.
You should.
I mean, it speaks to what you said earlier too, which is true. When you saw your boss in a personal interaction show vulnerability,
Yes.
and like you said, it invited it for you, because
Yeah.
I think that's something the best leaders do, is invite the opportunity to fail. And how do you as an individual say, I feel like it's okay to fail because I'm not going to lose my job or be judged,
Yeah.
or my performance review at a minimum, right? Like these things that we analyze in the moment of like
Yeah.
why we don't take the risk and take the chance. But when you see, hey, those that are in
Yes.
charge are also vulnerable, human,
Yeah.
and willing to admit I made a mistake,
Yeah.
invites you to take that leap of faith as an individual, which
I'll say more than that. Just as a general, like, a truth is like, fear of failure is real. Fear of exposing your weaknesses is real. Fear of like us getting on here and messing up or something, or the cat destroying my podcast. Like,
yeah, I mean, he's just starting profanity out the
That's
yin yang.
that stuff's real, dude. But like, which is fine, dude. Like, but like, that fear is real.
Yeah.
However, I will say that, like I said, the most beautiful things in my life, and I think lives in general, are born out of failure or born out of pain.
Yeah.
So if you can trick your brain, even momentarily, to pursuing it, the obstacle is the way is the book.
Yeah.
There's like stoicism has to do with this a little bit, maybe not really, but like,
To a degree.
yeah, but like pursuing that failure, pursuing that pain
Yeah.
is good
No, and that's
Yeah.
once again the dichotomy of it, right?
in
Like
general.
you can't like your animals, your pets, right? You can't love your animal to the point that you fear them passing away, because you're going to outlive them
Yeah,
statistically, right? Like,
yeah,
so, and it's just, yeah, you can't have the love of something so deep without the pain of losing it.
mm. Even if that is your own perception or the public's perception of you,
Right.
that transcends a thing. It transcends like it goes all the way to like how, don't be attached to how the world sees you. Don't be attached to the idea that you're perfect. Don't be attached to you like you should strive. It's another paradox or dichotomy thing. You should strive objectively to perceive or to pursue perfection, no matter what that means to you. Whether that's, I'm going to be the perfect X, the perfect Y, while always forgiving yourself indefinitely for being imperfect forever.
When you fall short.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, and that's like, because like you said, like pursuing the pain or pursuing the opportunity to really get hurt, and you're right. Like, I think we both had enough losses in our life to go like we can be resilient, but also know that sucked. Like it's okay to say,
Yeah.
man, I got to do it again, and I got to also be open to the fact that
Yeah.
in the moment, as temporary as it is, which I love how you said that, it's gonna suck,
Yeah.
and kind of, I mean,
But I'm
embracing the suck, if you will.
but I'm here with you,
Hmm.
whoever it is. I guess like it sounds almost egotistical to say something like that, but like you just got to know there's people out there who, in those moments of pain and suffering, are there with you in body and spirit, whatever. If not talking to
Yeah,
you when you're suffering,
but see, the next evolution is when you can have that conversation with yourself, when you can hold the mirror, which is another thing, saying or phrase wise, I got from Chris Latier just to share with him, right, and give him his flowers. But yeah, holding the mirror. I say that to my troops all the time. You know, if you can critique yourself at a high level, independent of judgment, almost, right?
mm-hmm.
To not being like you screw up, how could you, why did you? It's more of like, what'd you learn from it? How do you show up better? What accountability do you take, and what other things out of your control,
Yeah,
and moving forward, you know, learning the lesson and leaving the baggage. But really at the end of the day, when you can have that internal monologue and self-reflect and self-judge, you know, cathartically,
yeah,
is how you really grow as a human being exponentially outside of somebody external. Like I know we both push for mentors and have had those in our lives, and they're a huge part of accountability, you know, for each other too, which I think is great. You know, we have that authenticity with each other. But when you can have it internally, because you 24/7 can't escape yourself.
it's the mastermind group.
Yeah,
It's from Think and Grow
Grow
Rich.
Rich,
Yeah,
Napoleon Hill, exactly. And it's the part of the book where everybody says this gets weird, but it's true when he has an internal circle of projected people that are
yeah,
obviously just in his head, but they're all his council. He's got a council of made of people in his head where people be like, what acid is this guy tripping? But at the
yeah,
reality, that is more powerful than anything.
for sure. In a million ways. So, for anybody who happens to listen, the premise is like this person is doing a form of meditation, and then on the side, they're looking at their life as if they had a council of advisors around them who are famous people like Teddy Roosevelt or Lincoln or whoever.
Benjamin Franklin, I think, was the one he named.
Yeah, but he basically read the biographies of these individuals and
Yep.
tried to perceive life through their
Yeah.
eyes. And he would pretend, I don't know what pretend is not even the right word, but in these meditative states,
Made up dialogue. Yeah.
as if these people were advising him, which is so valuable because it takes, if the evidence isn't obvious of like why that's valuable, you're taking people who are proven actors in the world, people
Hmm.
who acted upon the world and made an impact.
Yeah.
A, B, you are trying to seek perspective outside of your own biases in yourself. Powerful.
Yep.
And C, meditation is fantastic.
Yeah.
So like processing your thoughts in a way that is like non-judgmental. I mean, I didn't write this book, but like man, it's very powerful
Oh,
stuff.
Think and Grow Rich. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
one that everybody always advocates for, and it's usually one
Yeah.
that does the flips the switch for people internally, where they realize that there's a different way of thinking or being. Once again, not better or worse, but just a
Yeah.
different way of thinking
There's
and
money
perceiving the
there's
world.
money all over the cover on some of the
I
prints.
know, because I mean, Think and Grow Rich, and
Well,
everybody gravitates
It sells.
towards money
Yeah,
and rich.
but it's not
It's
about,
not
well, it is partially, but it's not about that.
right.
It could be about living a rich life,
Well, it's
right?
like it's not a matter of like
Like
how
your
do I become a
like your
billionaire.
grandfather. Yeah.
It's not a matter of how do I become a billionaire. It's how do I become the kind of person that then can be
Right.
a billionaire,
I
or like
I
because even people that are millionaires and billionaires, they've lost and gained as much, and I
right.
love hearing those stories of somebody who's like, yeah, I was multimillionaire, then I went down to nothing, and then but they built it back over again.
Yeah, there was an Olympian who was getting interviewed recently. I saw in a little short. Thankfully, I don't watch as many shorts as I have in the past. But like I saw this chick win silver, and one of the people in the audience was like, "How do you feel about not winning gold?" And like she's like, the truth is, if she was fixated on gold, she would never win silver. Like
Right.
So the whole point that you're making is like if you focus on the money, you probably won't have it. If you focus on becoming the type of human that gets the money,
Mhm.
you still probably won't have it because you're still focused on the money.
Yeah.
But you should focus on becoming the best human you can be. And then, ironically, as a side benefit, then at that point, you might open yourself up to getting that value because you're pouring, the focus is, should be, and this correlates, but it does not, it's not exact all the time in terms of money. Some of the most valuable people in the world are probably financially poor. But if you pour value out to the world, I think that's a win-win. But one of the byproducts of pouring value out to the world, if capitalism's working perfectly, is that you'll get that back.
Oh, there's an ROI for sure.
Yeah. So like
It's not always quantifiable, but there is an ROI.
it's not always money.
Right.
It could be otherwise, but it could be money too. But like the point is like whether if you focus like the podcast that we're doing right now,
Yep.
I wouldn't even be able to do it if I was focused on the metrics that make a podcast successful, objectively successful.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Or just being like,
Yeah.
nobody will ever watch this and it'll never get any traction
And I wouldn't be able to forgive the judgment of myself.
and
over
you
being a
never
failure.
start or attempt or do it
I know.
because you've already come to the conclusion
Yeah.
it means nothing and it's a failure. But I wanted to come because you brought up the Olympian, which is great. Little side note. They did statistics on people, who, gold, silver, bronze. The people that win bronze are so much happier than the people that win silver for all the right reasons because they're happy just the podium. And the
Yeah.
people that silver are like, I was so close to gold,
Right.
and
the silver girl was probably an outlier.
Right.
Because
And-
she was happy to podium.
no, and,
Yeah,
and that's the right mindset.
Yeah.
That's the right mindset as an Olympian when you're trying to do
Yeah.
incredible things and just being like, for the person that made bronze, they're like, I made it. I'm on the podium.
Are we wrong though? Are the people who win gold obsessed with gold? Well, my question is maybe they gave everything to gold.
I have a judgment. Okay,
and
I
they
do.
Lost,
This is
they lost everything else.
personal opinion.
Yeah.
I have a judgment of the Olympics in general as a sport compared to what I think it should be. It was in the past, but um,
You could be wrong,
100%.
and
But,
then continue what you were going to say.
right,
Anyway.
absolutely. But it's like when somebody makes gold, right, and they look at themselves and say, "I'm the best in the world," and I go, "But are you?" Like you and me, if we had spent our life working towards whatever the metric or the measure or the activity, could we have been the best in the world? So if you win gold
Sure.
this year,
Physically, maybe not, dude.
are you just the best
hold on.
because you participated? And out of all the participants in the world, you gold.
Maybe because you were single-minded. The people who were like,
But do you understand what I'm saying? Like if when you're saying I'm the best in the world, you're the best in the world that pursued this activity. If other people in the world pursued it, is there somebody out there who's probably better than you?
well, that they deserve the credit though. If you pour all of your effort
Right.
and every part of your being into getting a gold circle,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get the gold circle,
Yeah.
then you deserve the title as best in the world.
Right, but I'm saying like their own self-evaluation in the moment.
I would say they are best in the
Because like you said, when you said the comment of like when somebody wins gold or like they gold obsessed, and for themselves to being like, man, look at all this effort that I poured over the last 4 or 8 or my lifetime,
Well, that's up to them to determine if that
I
was
know.
the right
I'm just saying
decision.
like that to me is a tough position to be in to where it's like, yeah, like after you win gold, what do you do?
Yeah, I don't know.
How do you evaluate?
Well, that's on an independent basis. Maybe you just pursue the next thing.
Well, I know. I'm just
It's-
talking hypothetical here, brother.
Well, yeah. Well, it could be like retirement. Some people seek retirement like it's the end goal, and then they get there and they're like, oh shit, what now?
Right.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, because you're talking about thinking like an Olympian or being in that role, like dedicating your life to like
A thing.
a thing so singular, so tunnel vision to being like, I'm the best in the world. Like night and day, I breathe this.
But no judgment to them because they've achieved something that's
Right.
objectively great.
Because when you talk about
Yeah.
showing up just a hair short,
Yeah.
and you're like, how does that feel? And I love the attitude. But then if I do hit the mark, now what? I think there's also the antithesis of that where it's, yeah, the letdown of I've done it. Now what do I do?
So maybe it's just fair to say at a minimum, if you find yourself being the best at something, maybe it'd be worth putting a little time on your calendar to reflect on if you're pursuing the right thing. Is that fair?
No, I
Yeah.
mean, and because
Yeah.
you mentioned it earlier too, which I agree. Like, you should pursue for perfection, but I always say to everybody, perfection is a moving target.
Mm.
You really, you know,
And it's independently defined.
yeah.
Yeah.
So whenever I say it like that, I think it puts into the context that, you know,
Perfection could mean I want to play this video game the best in the world. Like, and that's cool. Like, for
mhm,
real. Like,
right.
I love Tetris. I'm
Oh,
not pursuing it entirely, but like, I wouldn't be judgmental of myself if I was the best Tetris player in Virginia.
do you have it on Game Boy?
No,
What's
dude.
your version? You got like on the PC?
Shout out to Tetris Connected Effect.
What is that?
It is a Tetris game that's synced up to music, and you can't tell if the music is controlling you or if you're controlling the music. It's so well done. It's like a
No sponsorship here. What's the platform?
uh, PC, PlayStation, I think maybe
Tetris
Xbox
Connect?
too. Tetris Connected Effect.
Connected Effect.
It's got a beautiful soundtrack. Every single
Is it its own soundtrack?
yes, and every
Okay.
single Tetris board is different, and the theme changes.
Okay.
I'll tell you, if you go through it, it's like a trippy experience because it's so well produced.
Orchestrated, yeah.
And there's another game called Luminous something. It's
I've heard of
new-
that one. Yeah,
but
that one's trippy.
the new Luminous.
Okay, because I had that on the PlayStation.
Well, there's a new one
Portable.
that's made by the person who made Tetris Connected Effect,
Okay.
and it's a trip. It's a trip. I haven't played it, but I've seen like the intro part, and the guy who produced um, Tetris Connected Effect,
Mhm.
Tetris Connected. They had two different. It has had two different titles. Made Luminous,
Mhm.
and man, if you don't have a lot of time, because I don't have a lot of time to get into an RPG or like a long form video game,
Right.
I'll lose track of the story.
Yeah.
You know, I can't play it on my way to work like I would listen to a book.
Right.
So like the game that I can just pick up and play for 10 minutes is pretty much the only game I'm really playing nowadays.
Right.
Unless I really intentionally am like, hey Mark, let's bro down on a Saturday, which those days are probably numbered for
Right.
both of us.
Yes.
However, Tetris Connected Effect, you can pick up in 10 minutes and kind of get into a therapeutic, a flow state.
Okay. I'll give it a try.
Oh, dude.
No, because you say Tetris and one that's
Do you like
universal.
Tetris?
Oh, hell yeah. Because, okay, so
Dude, flow states. You want to talk about flow states? How long? Okay, so we said, oh man, we're not the strongest, you know, in humility, you know, we've never done this before.
right.
So it's like, well, if we get to 30 minutes and things are awkward, we'll just switch to the ChatGPT questions.
I know.
If we get to an hour, then maybe we should only commit to that.
Okay.
How long do you think we've been going?
Internal monologue out. I've been like, man, this is great. This is cathartic. But also, I'm trying to also be mindful of like what we're giving. I always
Yeah.
want to give more than I take. And right now, if somebody's watching me, I'm taking their time.
Right.
So
Well, it's their choice. They can log off. You know, like,
absolutely. But even those that have never heard of us or seen us, right? Like, what bones do they have to being like Rico and Craig? Why am I giving them my time more than anybody else who's maybe even more of an authority or nuanced or experienced on it, right?
and it's Mother's Day too. Yeah.
And it's Mother's Day.
But
well,
this will
I
live-
gave them a caveat that they could watch it after Mother's Day.
This will
like
live on-
after
well,
after
they can do whatever they
brunch
want.
or whatever, you know,
Oh,
after
you're
the
talking
phone
about your
call.
sisters?
No, I'm just talking about everybody in the universe, right?
Well,
like
it's
we're
going
putting
to
this.
live on YouTube. They can watch it anytime they want.
No, I know, but I'm saying I want to give.
And if a boss on LinkedIn doesn't like the fact that I play Tetris 10 minutes a week, well, I don't want to work for this person. Please, sorry, dude.
No. Just
Yeah.
when you're talking about like what was the intent of this, right?
Yeah.
And yesterday and everything leading up to it, and I'm like, man, if we get to 30 minutes, that's great. And if we get to an hour, we should probably wrap it up because it's just getting long-winded.
But nobody has to watch this.
No, I know.
They can log off anytime.
And they can jump in and out and fast forward if they want. Absolutely.
Yes. We could turn this into shorts. We could take moments that we say good stuff and turn it into snippets and do the whole thing that
You know what?
I
Okay, so
don't want to do.
the difference in my perception of this
Yeah.
experiment that
Yeah.
we're putting out there
Yeah.
is when we do it at Anita's and it's just you and me
Yeah.
and there's no recording devices. It can be very selfish.
Sure, but
No, I'm saying selfish for all the right reasons. Like we are just
Yeah.
fixated on each other and sharing our thoughts, and it's very genuine.
But dude, when I was on night shift, I didn't care that I wasn't involved. I was included in the conversation because what this is, we're having a private conversation to the public.
I know.
There's value in that by itself. We don't-
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Let me let you finish.
no,
dude.
no,
I'm
no, no,
sorry.
no, no.
Yeah.
You're good to jump in. I love it because
Yeah.
you're challenging me on like
Please
on
talk-
my
please talk
you're
to-
judging
Please talk to HR if I'm crossing boundaries.
you're
Yeah,
holding
too.
me accountable on my own judgment of myself and what we're doing.
Yeah.
But it's still very much of like you're right. If we just have the cathartic conversation there's value to be gained from that. End of story. But if I'm also throughout able to give, you know, pearls of wisdom or things they can take away, you know, I'm not even somewhat actionable items of like, oh, I like what he said there, or that rings true, right? Um, I've been playing that inside where it's like we start talking, I'm like, okay, I think I want to harp on this a little bit
Mm.
just to hopefully give something back, right? Give more than I'm taking in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Does that land?
Yes.
When I'm thinking about like what we're doing here with, you know, our time and other people's time, and the prosperity of it, and I don't want this to be a one and done. I know we don't want that, so it's more like,
We could have guests or something. We didn't even talk about what this becomes.
no, I know, and we're very open to what it could be. You know, like initially when you came to me with the idea of, hey, we're both leaders and we have some leadership experience. Let's give that back and let's have AI, you know, the future, if you will, of our domain, challenge us in leadership thoughts and questions. I love the premise,
Do you want to pivot to that? Or maybe next time?
and maybe next time. I think so. I think this is just an introduction to us and our. See, I think to me it's a little mini biography of
Mhm.
us, where we've been, what we're doing, and how we operate.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I think right now we are just advertising ourselves.
Mm.
So then it authors us to then go forward if somebody wants to watch or not, being like, yeah, I connect with them on a personal level.
Yeah.
Now I want to hear what they have to say about being a leader.
Yeah. I want to maybe
Do a little,
either
just try it
that
out.
or because it's so small at this point, maybe there's somebody in the chat who would
Okay,
want to ask a question or
go
like
for it, man.
because it's small at this point. So somebody who's on watching, they could like engage with us.
Yeah,
Yeah, you want to do that?
yeah, try it out.
All right, let me. So
Got nothing to lose and everything to gain, right?
yeah, so anybody who's watch us not be live,
Watch this. Yeah, it stopped recording.
no, we're live, dude.
Okay.
Dude, 11 views. That's double digits, dude. That's double digits.
I love this setup, by the way. Like, I love seeing it.
Yeah, I need to lose weight, which is good. You know, I get to see myself on camera, which is good. No harsh judgment on myself.
No,
But
but we could all be healthier.
yeah, dude.
I've been losing weight and I still have some to lose. So,
Dude, I've looked up to you and your like lack of attachment to food, and you acknowledge like, hey, this is a very like
yeah.
in a non-judgmental way, because like people will be like, oh, I'm a fat F or something, but like you're just like, nah, food is really fleeting and it's not really worth it. You know, like
Pretty much. There's no
yeah,
attachment.
yeah,
Where
which
I,
is healthy.
a little bit.
Telling your boss about the Tetris, Craig. I don't even know who this is.
But coming up to your place, just while you're reviewing this, you know what brought me back?
Yeah.
One, I was like, am I got the right address, or, you know, put in the right location? You know, it's not some old address. Because
Yeah.
I was kind of guessing when I was looking through the text. I was like, oh, I think this is his, right?
Yeah. Lived
But
here for a minute.
but the
Yeah.
last time I was here, it's because we were running. We were training for a marathon.
That's right.
You know,
Beautiful trails around here. Yeah, yeah.
dude, it's gorgeous around. And I just remember like us.
I would love to do another marathon.
I know, man. God, that's a goal of mine. That is a huge goal of mine, to do another marathon, and for all the right reasons. It's, to me, there's more symbology behind what it requires
Yeah.
than the actual like accomplishment of it.
It really requires you to meditate and
It's mental.
and
It's
commit.
so mental.
Yeah.
I tell that to people all the time, you know, because even my wife, because she's watched me do the last few here in DC,
Yeah.
and every time I mean, no judgment, but she's like, I see some of the people finishing, and I'm like, I'm in better shape than them.
Yeah.
Like, how are they doing 26.2 miles? And I tell them, like, because it's mental.
I think I was talking about the goal, and again, goals and journeys and being willing to fail and all that. That is a beautiful thing. We were on a run one day, running through a neighborhood, and I pointed out like, oh man, Rico, you say hi to everybody that we pass.
Yeah.
And I think at that time, chapter wise, whatever, I wasn't doing that as much as you.
Mhm.
But I was like, dude, that's really cool. And you went off on a tangent about how like the marathon isn't the goal. What we're literally doing right now is the gift and the goal. And we were probably in a runner's high, but you were just like vibing off the fact that like the marathon isn't the goal. The whole work up to it is like beautiful, and the process of like getting ready for it is the thing itself. Like
Yeah.
that is the goal.
Right.
Is like to go through the process to achieve the goal, right? Like
See that right there.
talk about your career goals and what you're doing to get there.
Oh,
From Joel.
oh,
Dude, thank you, Joel.
look at him. See, high quality person keeping us on task.
Dude, on Mother's Day too, man. Thanks, man.
That guy
I
operates at a higher
I
frequency.
don't even know him that well. The only, you know what my interaction with him was? I walked
The
up.
ATS team or something.
No, I rolled up to a training that he was giving at the corporate building,
Yeah,
and I was like, "Oh man, I know Rico, and I know you, Joel." You know, like,
that was the connection.
yeah, that was, and I was like, he's like, "It's Joel, good to meet you," you know, like, and that was it. But yeah, but thanks, man. What a
Yeah,
great like,
let's say it one more time. What's the question?
yeah, great way to get out of your comfort zone and share yourself with the world. Talk about your career goals and what you're doing to get there.
Okay, that's personal.
It is, dude. Well, shoot, we talked about dead people and suicide and everything that's dark in the world, all the way to the most beautiful
We've gone
things.
on a pretty good journey here in the last hour and two.
I think we can talk about career goals.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we can scratch that.
I'll turn this back off for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, what's up, man? What are your career goals?
Dude, okay, so
This feels selfish, but I think it's good. It
no, it is.
inspires people, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it once again, it's that authenticity. Like you're telling us to find our why and our philosophy, but what drives you? Um, so it started out selfishly.
Same.
A little background, right?
Lack of money. Yeah.
Well, not even just finances, which
Status. I wanted to show up to my 20-year high school reunion. I'm sorry, dude. I'm interrupting you.
no, you're interrupting like hell. I love it. Keep going.
I wanted to show up to my 10-year high school reunion in my Navy Chief dress whites. I wanted that like success. I don't want that anymore. And I'm glad I didn't show up in my
Yeah.
I didn't show up to my high school reunion, unfortunately, but I'm glad I didn't do it in my dress whites. Please.
No, you're
Career
good,
goals.
man.
Let me cover my mouth.
No, because I'm trying to think like I don't want to make it seem like was born with a higher purpose. I definitely early on was like status and things and big TV. And truthfully, I wanted a beautiful wife, if not for the prize of being like, that's an evaluation of me that I could catch, that kind of trophy, if you will, and have that
Yeah.
on my mantle for selfish reasons. But yeah, that was definitely early 20s. And, but through the military, I saw so much bad leadership. And that's the reality of it. And when I put myself in really bad positions because of my own poor judgment and stupidity, it was good leadership, the minority good leadership that saw me through it. And one, I wanted to pay it back in some way. And two, I wanted to kind of put my money where my mouth is. So I'll tell you, like on a personal goal, I want to have the sphere of influence, like you talked about, right? That fallacy within the military where you can't be wrong and you can't make mistakes. And I see it as such an ineffective way of leading, with this, I do it and you do it because I said you do it. Like I'm a master chief, I'm a captain, I'm in charge of the carrier, I'm the captain, this is what we're doing. And I hated that mentality and I hated that attitude. And so coming back to like, what's your professional career growth and development? I just want to have a sphere of influence to do more good than bad. Because I've been on the opposite end of that, where you're at the mercy of other people making wrong, ill-informed, or, just decisions. Like, when you see other people suffering, that's what it is too. Like you see one person having so much impact on other people and the suffering and the plight, when it's like, how did this person get so much power? And I want that power to wield it correctly. And you know what? There could be some judgment here where it's like, oh, what makes you think you have the right to, wear the crown? But it's until, like you said, until you put it on, you don't know. Until you attain or become that kind of individual or get put into that uncomfortable position of wielding the power, of having the authority, right? I used to tell people back 3 years ago, so I was really high on this, like, I want to be a CEO. I want to be at the pinnacle, the captain of the ship, if you will, right? But I want to be at the pinnacle of the organization where they go, what do you want to do? And have nobody else above you, no safety net, right? No guard. It's your neck on the chopping block of where multi-billion-dollar company goes. And so I used to tell people all the time, I was like, I want to be a CEO. I want to be a CEO. I probably tempered from that a bit because of things I've experienced over the last 2 years or so. And part of me goes, am I being authentic to myself when I really believed in this conviction?
Yeah.
And now I'm like kind of stepping back from that. And so then was it real? Like this is self-reflection and like, did you really want it? Or was that one of those kind of trophy things as well? But coming back to career goals and development, um, yeah, I think I've come more centered to I want to I don't want to be the CEO. I want to create other CEOs. And I think that's more powerful. And I've always felt that way. Like in my leadership philosophy, I think the best leaders make future leaders. Like that's one of the conditions to being a good leader, you know?
Yeah, I kind of disagree with it, but there was like a graphic that was like, you aren't a leader until you make a leader who made another leader, but how could they be a leader if they aren't a leader yet because they haven't made a leader who made another leader?
Okay, that's a little weird. Yeah,
I get your point though.
right.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
to say a leader isn't a
But
leader until they've.
you want to make leaders.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I think when it's because I said this too recently to somebody, and I love it where it's like, if I help you get to the top of the mountain, I also will enjoy the view. And I think once again, high quality human being, how you show up, and I've told this to people, and I don't know if they took it in jest, but I was genuine. Where it's like, if someday I'm working for you, right, that would be fantastic, because for all the right reasons, you've ascended to that role, and now hopefully what I've done in kind to you, you pay it forward, so I'm not unemployed. If worst case scenario, I don't have to think about do I got a job because you'll hire me because along your journey I've helped you and played a role in your ascension. So to me, I think that's probably why I've stepped back a bit to being like, I want to be the boss to I want to make future awesome leaders.
Ironically, like achieving money, you're probably closer to it now than you were when you were seeking title.
Say more.
Your perspective now is not focused on title. You're just focused on influencing people and creating leaders.
Yeah. But how do you have more influence?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
How do you have more influence?
Yeah.
This.
This, but also you ascend. Like when we're talking, the heart of the question, right, is professional goals and development, right?
I think you ascend.
I mean, if we just talk about what we know, right, within Amazon, right, where you're like a facility manager, then an area manager, then a cluster manager, right? And your network, right, to, director, senior director, VP, EVP, right? So I think sometimes people fixate on like somebody climbing the corporate ladder, and we always go to, what are their motives? Is it title? Is it money, right? But for me, and the transparency of it all, and the question, which I love, is, yeah, I want to, because I want that sphere, because I feel like I can do, once again, more good than bad. And I want to share my experiences. And if I can cast a wider net of influence, then that fills my cup. And like you said, it's less about me pursuing, but more just about having that influence. And I think there was a moment there where I was like climbing the corporate ladder and feeling it. But when I had to kind of take a step back and being like, what really matters is just title agnostic.
Yes.
To just have that impact.
Yeah. I'm going to echo you a little.
Please.
I think I've got this one cracked until the world proves that I don't.
Okay.
0 titles. I haven't sought out my current role, and I didn't seek out the role before it. And I don't think so I made a bunch of money in Bitcoin, and then I quit my job at FP&L, and shout out to some peers who were really supportive, and I was focused on money. Grew up, not having a lot. My grandparents did, but my mom, we were a little obsessed with money. No judgment to anybody for doing that in a world where you need it to survive.
Absolutely.
But I was like obsessed with getting Bitcoin rich. The day I took a very pivotal exam at work was the same day Bitcoin hit 20 grand for the first time. I quit my job. And then I went out on my own and lost money. And I was like, oh, if I keep going at this rate for a long time, I need to get a job again. So I reached out to Brian Poley, who's at Microsoft, has gone through a leadership journey himself. I'm sure a good dude. Um, but he was like, oh, I can get you in an Amazon. Came as in a technician, which was a huge hit to my ego. The bigger hit to my ego was what happened before that, was when I was like looking at the guy in the mirror and was like, oh, you're self-employed and you are the reason you are not doing great. Nobody else, right?
Yeah.
So that was a huge humility hit. One of the most challenging things, I cried at my desk quite a bit because, between like crypto ventures or trading or over trading or like the same mechanisms that had got me to that point, I was like not doing great. And I realized that, timing AMD and Bitcoin was partially luck. Maybe I was right, but I wasn't. That was independent of time. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day.
Yeah.
But bottom line is, it was humbling. Ever since I became an EOT, I swear to you, I have not sought out chief engineer, FM, whatever, whatever. I haven't sought it out. I just wanted to do right and to be a better human, because the experiences that I had at the end of my Navy career, leading into failing myself, business wise, was a humbling experience. And I was like, okay, I just need to be humble. I need to be, take pride in what I've accomplished and what I'm good at, which was operations.
Yeah.
I also need to know that I'm not a crypto genius because I had never got a computer science degree. I thought I was a nuclear engineer. I was like, we weren't nuclear engineers. We were nuclear operators, which isn't like a hierarchy thing. It's just like, know your lane in terms of like what you're good at. Be open to the fact that there are entire other worlds of depth in other career fields.
Yeah.
And realize there's levels to that too. Humility. So like, as a technician, I wrote like a paper about how to do a combined campus approach and like, some other things that were way outside my role, for the point of, I just wanted to be valuable.
Yep.
And I had the bandwidth mentally, and I had my ego checked, and I realized, oh, you know what's great, dude? When you go from like your income is at the whim of like your everyday success as a business leader or as like an owner of a business. And if you make $1,000 a day, that's cool. If you lose $1,000 a day, that's horrible. When you have a consistent income, something you can rely on, you start to really appreciate the breath of fresh air that a decent income, what it represents, the stability.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, I want to make $100,000. But the truth is, if you're paying your bills, and if you have a consistent income based on you showing up to work and performing, the peace of mind that could give you, if you weren't attached to the idea of more,
right,
is enough breathing room to maybe do some cool shit.
Yeah.
So like as a technician, I'm getting to where I want to be in my career. But as a technician, I lost the ego part. I basically lost the love of money. Because I realized that when I had the most of it, it didn't add value to my life. I bought a cool BMW. It didn't do anything for it. Well, it did. It was cool. I still like looking at a good car.
Of course.
But it wasn't what I thought it was.
Right.
So I lost the love of money. I lost the love of titles. I lost that. But I gained the freedom mentally to focus on, oh shit, I just went through the pain of like losing money and like failing at business and failing spectacularly like I had never done in the Navy. I was the youngest chief on the West Coast the year that I made it or whatever. I was like, I'm successful.
Yeah.
And then you fail.
Right.
And it's a gift because like, you're like, oh, it just was a paradigm shift. So like my point is, I, like yourself, through a different journey, different reasons, I don't care about titles.
Yeah.
My career aspirations are, the reason I'm doing this podcast partially is, camera stares at you. I've been pretty good at not looking
I have
at
too.
it. But have you been like, glance over on accident?
Well, I'm treating it like our conversation, right? Like you make good eye contact.
Yeah.
That's important in conversation. So it's
Yeah.
been easy.
Somebody's like, oh, you just went off stream.
Probably.
Happy Mother's Day. Shout out to all the moms. Happy Mother's Day.
I know.
But
Absolutely.
to continue my thought, the reason I'm doing this is because I have figured out something in life through pain, suffering, and through life, which is a nuanced view, love, deep love of human suffering and those who do it,
Yeah.
which is all of us. And I think we all have a lot more in common than we have different.
Yes.
And I think I can give the gift of loving pretty much anybody, including people who've hurt me.
Yeah.
Never judging, having a business sense in terms of like I've been exposed to it, so I'm good compared to a lot, like whatever.
Yeah.
And I also am a really elite operator because I've been doing that for 20 years.
Yes.
And that all combined represents healthy life for the most part. And I want to give the gift of I'm not at this point in my life. I'm not depressed, thank God. I'm not in dire straits. Financially, I'm doing fine. I have a lot of gifts that I'm blessed with through not actions, through actions of my own and failures of my own.
Yeah.
But the point is, the gift of what I have right now, I would love to pursue the rest of my life just giving that away as much as possible. And that includes growing sphere of influence.
Yep.
I don't care if it's this podcast. I don't care if it's a title. I don't give a shit about the title.
Yeah.
I just want to like love people.
Yes.
And play the game of like, I'm good at X job.
Yes.
We could do both. I could maybe take care of humanity while balancing needs of the business. And that's a game in itself. And I want to play that game because it's fun.
Dude.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Are you ready to hand off the baton here?
Yeah.
Because I've been like, it's one of those ones where you want to listen and not listen to respond.
Yeah.
And the whole time I'm like, you've been pumping me up.
I have to cover my mouth.
No, you've been pumping me up because I'm like, let me jump in, right? But
let me see if I was done. Yeah, so ironically that might translate into success, but honestly, dude, I'm successful without money because I think I love people authentically and like I'm at that point without signaling to the world or something, but like I am lucky to even be in that place because you have to be entitled with like a certain amount of financial reserve or social credit or letting go of the desire of those
But you've
things.
created that though.
Right. And that's a gift.
You've been active in that.
Sure.
It wasn't handed to you.
Right. And that's fine. Whatever situation brought me here, it is a gift.
Right. I'm leery of the word gift.
That maybe I gave myself.
Okay.
So like
fair enough.
Or that the universe.
But you created the opportunity for it.
Sure. But like
I'm trying to give you some flowers here instead of it was just handed to you, right?
Yeah, I know.
It's not nepotism.
I know it wasn't handed to me. Well, it was because I was lucky enough to be born.
We've all got that gift.
I know. So like.
So what are you going to do with it?
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm derailing you.
No, I was done. I think.
Okay.
But the career aspiration is whatever I provide in value at scale with my time and balance and how I think.
Yeah.
Balance between business success and people leadership and
Yep.
people love. If all of that correlates to X title, I'm willing to have it.
Right.
That's it. That's my career
Right.
aspiration.
And I kind of like that's why I'm.
Yeah, which is kind of whack.
No.
I don't know.
No. Look, we're gonna put a bow on this right now.
Yeah.
I love it.
Please.
Because everything you said was extrinsic motivators, which at the end of the day have their limited functionality, and that fuel runs out pretty quickly when you realize it. Like you said, title and money, those are all extrinsic, right? But when you look at something intrinsic and what you're giving from within to out,
The win-win.
dude. And so that's where, like, to come back to what are our career aspirations and goals, right? And just like you alluded to in analogy with the marathon, it isn't about the marathon itself, it's about the journey, right? And so for us in our journey, we don't care about where we're going. I think if you on a personal and professional level can detach yourself from, I need to get this, or I need to have that, right? I need to make X amount of dollars an hour or a year, or I need to have, these status things, titles, right? If you can detach yourself from that and going like, what am I trying to pursue as a human being? Then the other things will come along, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what resonates for both of us. In the singularity of, we're not trying to chase anything now. Like before we were, right? Truthfully. Yeah. And for me, like, it's funny you talk about the military and how like you were one of the youngest chiefs. And for me, I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever make chief before I get out, because it was that constant struggle of like my own journey and where I've been, and self-doubt, self-reflection. You're not worthy. You didn't do everything right. So now this is the L sandwich you get to eat. But I think once you detach yourself from those things externally and you just go, I'm going to be a high quality human being. Now, yes, as much as we want to give back on an emotional and deep spiritual caring front, which I love how you speak to, like just giving love and abundance no matter what, right? And that's my gift. But also professionally, you do have to have a technical component. And I tell this people all the time, I'm like, I love being in the data center industry, not because I'm big on ones and zeros in the internet, which we need and are critical, interlaced in our lives and are not going away anytime soon, right? Only going to get ingrained more. But it's from being in an environment, high functioning teams, high functioning individuals.
High pace, high pressure.
Yes, right, exactly. It's like I can't go to work and just goof around and waste time. Like there's a criticality to what we do, just like it was in the nuclear Navy, right? Like I think that's why we gravitated towards that. Like
I missed that.
abso-freaking-lutely. Like yes, when it's do or die, right? Like
Mark down the street, he
as a firefighter,
he saves lives.
Yes.
And it he goes into that mode.
When the building's on fire and people are running away, he's running towards it.
Yeah.
And that is awesome.
Right.
To me, I applaud people like that, right?
When there's a casualty at work, I turn on.
Yes. Like we both have that mindset. Like when you get to that point in your military career, when you're like, I want something to break. I want something to go south because I want to rise to the occasion, not falter back to playing it safe and everything's quiet. Yeah. So I think for us, we gravitate towards just operations in general, but operations in a critical, stressful environment where you get a collective group of high functioning individuals and get awesome people to do awesome things in a very intense, critical, 24/7, 100% uptime environment. Like I think anything short of that, outside of our purpose and why,
would bore you a bit.
Yes, exactly, right? So I think we got to have both, right? So when you're having the professional development conversation that we're having, and we talk about our own whys and what we're pursuing, where it's more about the journey and less about the goal, but also knowing, yes, you need to have a technical element to it. And if I can summarize it in this, right, when they say, what are the 3 qualities you should look for in a hire? And it's integrity, energy, and intelligence. And if you don't get the first one right, the other 2 will kill you. And I love that because I think universally throughout this podcast have talked about integrity and authenticity, right? And transparency.
Yeah.
So having the integrity, but the other 2 are just as important, right? So when you talk about personal development, it's like, what skills are you adding to then give yourself the ability, right? Like if we didn't have the technical acumen to be in operations, we don't get the opportunity to then lead as leaders, right? And have that more, for us, impactful opportunity and experience.
Yeah.
So I think for your personal journey, right, just to summarize, right, like integrity, intelligence, and energy, right? The intelligence part, you can't forget about that. You do have to continue to invest
time.
Right, the balance between soft skills and hard skills.
True.
So when people are starting their journey, and for my daughter who's in college and my son who's trying to get into college, and other people, it's like the balance between like education and skills and the trades. And I think if putting that out in the universe, right, and what we're trying to do for this here in the heart of the question, you got to have both. We have that experience,
I thought somebody asked me, how did you know you love nuclear power? Money, obviously, was the initial motivator.
For joining the Navy was money?
Nuclear. I asked my recruiter.
Oh.
Like I said, man, I was money obsessed. So I was like, hey, where can I risk my life the least and make the most money? And they said, nuke.
That's the right answer, actually. That's pretty good.
It kind of is. But my point, when I fell in love with it, was when I became obsessed with it, which was when I decided to force it down my own throat. My point is the pursuit.
How long did that take you?
I don't know, but the pursuit of something. I'll say, when I had a click. So we had been studying the nuclear.
How long were you in the Navy?
9 years.
At this point, when you had the moment?
No. I was.
No, sorry. Yeah, I'm just trying to get to the heart of like.
It was during the pipeline, the training pipeline.
Okay.
I had been shoving the material down my head, and I had a click of like how it all worked together, how all the fluid systems and the electrical aspect, the mechanical aspect, how it all tied together. I could tell you how temperature here changes pressure over here.
Yep.
And when I had the click of how all that stuff relates, when my mind had that whole like the neurons connected, I remember the moment I was sitting in my car outside of my like apartment or my duplex or whatever we were living in at the time during prototype.
Yeah.
Which is the last phase of training.
Charleston or New York?
Charleston.
Okay, awesome.
But I got in my car. I was thinking about nuclear power on my way home trying to figure out a problem with the temperature coefficient reactivity or some crap. I don't really remember.
Okay.
But I
Don't
had
say anything confidential.
that's not.
No, I know that's not
Yeah.
confidential, but you
Yeah.
say numbers, it's
Yeah.
confidential.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I had the click, and I think that's when I fell in love with it, and it was because I had pursued it. So my point is, the pursuit of something
Right.
will make you fall in love with it. You don't necessarily have to find your passion.
But are you saying just from the investment of it?
Yes. My point is, I think, well, I'm finding something I'm more passionate about naturally,
Right.
but if you wait to find your passion until you pursue something, that's a huge mistake. You need to pursue something.
Say it one more time.
So two things.
I just want to hear it again. Yeah.
You should be open to whatever. Seek your passion. Simultaneously, pick something and pursue it. Because the act of pursuit will work universally for the rest of your life.
I think that's what scares people, and that's why I wanted you to say it again, where they're like, I don't know what to pursue.
Pursue. The bottom line is
But
pursue.
the bottom line is action.
Yes.
You must take a step. If you stay where you're at, right, you're just going to waste time.
And you may fall in love with the thing you're pursuing. And if you don't, you got the practice of pursuit, and you'll be better at pursuing the next thing.
And there you go. Just like the millionaire that makes his first million and then loses it. Maybe that was the wrong adventure, but he's got the skills now
Of making $1 million
on a personal level
Yeah.
to do what it takes to make $1 million. And just like you said,
Yes.
like if ever any doubt, action. Maybe it's wrong, maybe it's right, but take action because
Yeah.
it will strengthen you as a human being.
Yes.
I like that.
I think that's a bow. How long have we been going?
It's 10 o'clock, so
2.5 hours? Brother, you know how cool that is? First podcast ever, and we go naturally for 2.5 hours.
I mean, this is what we do at Anita's. So I think I felt like,
Yeah.
you know what? I think that scared me.
We aren't forcing this.
No, we aren't. And that's what
Yeah.
scared me about like going longer than an hour,
Yeah.
because our microtransaction society, and like you said, the shorts and the clips and the TikToks
Yes.
and small format,
Yeah.
instant gratification. If it doesn't please me within the first 30 seconds, I move on to the next thing.
Yes.
So, and when you said, yeah, Joe Rogan does 3-hour podcasts, I'm like, holy crap, he does. And he's popular than ever. So it's not so much that you can't get somebody's attention. It's just, are you getting their attention?
Yeah. Dude, the bow was tied.
Are there any other questions? Because that was fantastic. I think, for Joel to contribute that to our podcast,
Thank you.
we should have him
you,
as
Joel.
one of our first guests.
Dude, if he'd come over here, that'd be sick.
He would be awesome.
Craig, I'll put some time on your calendar, have a conversation. You were awesome. That's sick. Dude, it's Joel over and over again.
I know, man. See this, how I am not surprised that I could count on this man to add value.
We need to be impatient with the inputs and patient with the outputs. Craig, you just spoke from the heart about your goals. It was beautiful. Rico, other things I look to for candidates is curiosity and good judgment. Yeah, dude. Joel, thanks for... Dude, yes. If he's willing, if you're willing, dude.
I think he would.
Yeah, so we have 2 people.
Still watching?
Yeah.
And 12 total views.
That's double digits, man. And I bet we'll get more if we post the finished
Once
product
again,
on LinkedIn.
it's
7:30 on Mother's Day.
I know.
Thank anybody whoever's still here. Thank y'all.
Absolutely.
And then I hope this brings value. I think we tied it in a bow.
Yeah.
From the pursuit of pursuit. Live life. Be intentional. If you have a hard time, I love you.
Dude.
Lean in on people who support you. Just
I love our theme here because it's about making mistakes.
do
it's
this
about,
thing.
Yeah, take action, make
Yeah.
mistakes. We forgive you. We are here for you.
Yeah.
I think the way you summarize it in your professional growth of just loving and caring. And if that's all you get in giving out, you've won.
Yeah.
And that's what makes us winners.
All right, dude.
Welcome to the winner circle.
Yeah.
Okay, are we going to stop?
I'm gonna play the song and do the thing.
Okay. We have an outro too.
No, that's the same as the intro for the 2 people. I think I know how to do it.
Happy Mother's